Right, it's 7 p.m. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call for attendance, please.
Kevin?
Here.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes. We have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence, prayer and meditation. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started in our meeting. We have announcements and correspondences. Any announcements or correspondences? All right, hearing none. We have no scheduled meeting guests today. We do have meeting minutes to review from the February 2nd, 2026 meeting. I will entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion on meeting minutes? Hearing none, roll call for acceptance.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Meeting minutes approved.
All right. Agenda. I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
I would make the motion, but however, I do have something I want to add on there.
All right, so we have a motion. Can we get a second?
I'll second.
And then discussion.
Okay.
Changes?
On the changes is, I attended the Kent Brimfield JED meeting this afternoon,
Okay.
and the board asked me if I would request a public records, I guess you'd call it, to go back to 2020 coming forward and give them a written list of everything that was paid out of the Kent M&I fund.
Okay. So you want to add that to the agenda for discussion?
Yes.
All right, so under that, under new business updates, number 4. Anything else to add, Sue?
No.
I would like to add the Kimball contract.
All right, so Kimball contract, that was old business. Is that going to require board approval tonight?
I think so.
Okay, so then we'll put that under admin 1, B as in boy, board approval. We'll no longer say none, it'll say Kimball contract. I also have a change under 2, B as in boy, admin costs. Also, I spoke with Dave. We're gonna have a change under road department, 2, new business, B, board approval for road mileage. He's got a letter from the auditor, or from the engineer today. Dave, any other changes?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Kevin, you got another?
Yeah, I would like to discuss somewhere the AmeriGas propane bill.
Okay, we can put that, is it just updates right now?
Just a discussion.
So put that under new business, updates, number 5, AmeriGas. Any other changes, Kevin?
Nope, that's it.
Chris?
Yes.
Chris, what do you have?
Under 2B3, need board approval for acceptance of the Walmart Community Giving Grant.
2B3, you have the Walmart grants. Any other changes? All right, so we have a motion, a second on the floor with amendments under Police Department 2B as in boy, number 3, Walmart Community Giving Grant. Administration 1B as in boy, Kimball contract. 2, A as in Adam, number 4, Kent Brimfield JED, number 5, AmeriGas. 2B as in boy, admin cost number 1. And then road department, 2B as in boy, board approval for road mileage. Any other changes or amendments? Hearing none, roll call for acceptance with amendments.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right. Changes approved.
All right. Number 6, I will entertain a motion to accept the purchase orders as presented.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion on purchase orders? Okay, hearing none, roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick.
Yes.
All right, purchase order is approved.
All right, warrants. I'll entertain a motion to accept warrants as presented.
so moved.
I'll second.
All right, discussion. I do have a couple discussion points. Just for the minutes, under SumaCare, looking at the SumaCare bill, I would recommend we approve it with pending changes. We have at least one additional employee on here who should not be receiving SumaCare coverage that we're paying for, possibly two. Also identified fees that were charged on unemployment. We had 3 dishonored checks come back to us on 12/23, 12/30, and 1/21. We believe those are because of the ACH process and the fraud reporting. So I'd say we approve it without paying those additional charges for the late payments. And also just a note on the property tax, we're only paying the special assessment right now while we wait for that paperwork. All right, with those changes, any other changes? Hearing none, roll call for approval of warrants with the stated changes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick.
Yes.
All right, warrants approved.
We are now into public comments. We do ask that you please state your name and address before addressing the board. Do we have the sheet? We do. Anybody that has not signed up yet that would like to sign up to speak, I will leave it up top here for you. First up, Mike Miller.
I'm gonna pass it this time.
You're gonna pass it this time? All right, thank you. Next is Camelia Taylor. We do ask that you use the podium here, and we do have a 3-minute timer.
Okay, my name is Camilla Taylor. You need my address?
No, you signed in.
Okay. I am here
hear you.
concerned
now I
about,
can hear you.
I'm here concerned about with the use of the community center. I am with the Brimfield Young at Heart. It was originally opened as a senior center, later switched to community center. We have been there from the beginning, and last meeting, you guys had talked about shifting everybody out of there over to the library. We cannot move to the library because I'm sure they're not going to accommodate our needs. What we do when we have our meeting is the second Friday of every month, so one time a month, we have a meeting with the board. Then we have a bagged lunch. We can have anywhere from 15 to 30 people there. We all bring in a bagged lunch, doesn't cost anybody anything, we just sit and eat, okay? We also have an office there that we store our supplies in. We have our paper products and different things that we use as a group, any decorations we have, so nobody has to store it at their house and bring it back and forth every time. If we move to the library, I'm sure they're not going to give us that. Okay, another option, another thing we do have a gas grill there at the community center. We do a corn roast. Where are we going to store it, number one? Number two, are they going to let us do a corn roast at their field behind the library? Probably not. So you're going to be pushing us out of there with nowhere to go. And the community center was open for the seniors, so I don't feel it's fair to the seniors to have to find someplace else and have to pay for someplace. The seniors is the one that did a lot of work on that. They raised money. They did a lot of manpower on that. And I don't feel that it's fair to say, oh, we're just going to shift you over to the library. That's all.
Thank you for your
Thanks.
time. All right, next up, we have Bill Anderson.
Get in there. My name's Bill Anderson. I'm speaking as a concerned Brimfield resident. I thought the trustees, starting at the beginning of the year, were going to be fully transparent. And we're waiting to hear the state of the township report, a forensic report, and how and where the money was misspent. In response to comments from the last meeting, Nick stated he was looking into a real estate agent to look at the community center, which kind of tells me they're trying to sell it. And I think that should be open for discussion at a special public meeting, as money was donated along with labor and materials from residents of Brimfield to have a place for the benefit of the community. On another subject that was discussed last week, M&I funds, which were intended for maintenance and economic investment. Apparently they weren't used right, according to the state auditors. And those funds are a combination between Talmadge, Kent, and Brimfield for improvements, nothing more. I don't think Talmadge and Kent, based on the article I read in the Portager, I don't think Talmadge and Kent are just going to give us the money back. So based on that, looking for other ways to save money, I think we could maybe cut out overtime from the fire department if we hired part-time firemen. We wouldn't have to pay the fire department premium time. And I'd like to know how much actual overtime is spent during the course of a year, and versus how much it would cost to hire, if that's even feasible, a part-time fireman. There was also discussion of giving McGuire Park to the Portage Park Systems, and I only have to say we were given that land as a Brimfield Park, and Tim McGuire did not want to give it to Portage Parks, and that park can't be sold ever, according to the contract that I saw. And I also believe that people should be able to make public comment at the end of the meetings. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right. Any other public comments today? All right. Hearing none, we'll move into our safety concerns. Any safety concerns today? All right. Hearing no safety concerns, we'll move into the police department. Captain Atkins, floor is yours, sir.
Okay, calls for service. February 26th, we were at 2932. We were at 3934 this time last year. There was a downturn in the stats in January, but February we're back on pace. We didn't go up or down a considerable amount, so we were back at our normal pace. We're not quite sure why January was so down, but February we're back to averaging around 1,000 calls a month. Nothing for old business for the police department, and nothing for board approval from old business. We do have 3 items for approval of the board. The first, going to ask board approval to purchase 2 new police vehicles, 2026 police Ford Interceptors from Park Ford in the amount of $96,506 total. It's $48,253 each, which actually is a cheaper price this year than we paid last year. We plan on paying for these, 1 out of the Law Enforcement Trust Fund and 1 out of contingencies, with the agreement that if the JED language does change and that money can be used to pay for police vehicles, that we would be reimbursed from the M&I in the future if that language is changed.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the purchase orders of 2 2026 Ford Police Interceptors from Park Ford in an amount of $96,506 to be charged to the Law Enforcement Trust Fund and the Police Department Contingency Fund, with the caveat that if the maintenance and improvement funds are secured and redefined, that we would reimburse those departments. I need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Jasmine, you good with those coming out of Law Enforcement Trust and Contingency?
Yes, Chris and I, we met a couple weeks ago and discussed this.
Okay. And I think if we can get it redefined, Chris, I'm totally in support of getting that money back to the PD, because that was the original budget plan.
Hopefully, we need it.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
That's fine. Chris, so what's the plan if it doesn't get changed? The M&I fund?
The money doesn't last as long. I mean,
Okay.
when we did the budget 5 years ago and we went to the voters, we said that the levy money would last 5 years. I'm probably gonna make it last about 6 by some good budgeting, but that was with the understanding that Jed M and I would pay for cruisers every single year. So I got 240-some thousand taken away out of my budget this year. It didn't pay, I didn't get reimbursed last year, and if I don't get reimbursed this year, that's all less carryover, and we'll have to go to the voters sooner than we planned, which is not something I wanted to do. I prided being able to run every levy cycle 5 years, make the money last. I made it last 6. I was on pace to make it probably last 6.5 this year. It's not gonna end that way if we have to keep paying for cruisers.
Okay. But you're kind of planned, I mean, you'll be okay.
I'll make it for a few years. I mean,
Okay.
it's just that
Okay.
yeah.
It just, it impacts how we have
Yeah,
the discussion.
I just wanna make sure he's not counting on that, cause it's up in the air.
Right.
It's wishful thinking right now.
Yeah, okay.
Further questions? All right, hearing none, roll call for the purchase order?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
approved.
Next up, it's time to renew our dispatch contract with Kent State University. I'm asking board approval for a renewal of the communications contract in the amount of $78,698. That is only a 2% increase from last year. Kent State has been a great partner and has helped us through some tough times, and they continue to be a very good partner and provide quality services.
I'll entertain a motion for the 2026 communication services contract with Kent State University.
so moved.
I'll second.
Any
Oh, and I understand that this is payable, this $78,000 is payable semi-annually on April the 1st and October the 1st.
Correct.
So we don't get hit all at one time for 78,000.
Correct.
We divide that up,
Yep.
okay.
other questions? All right, hearing none, roll call for acceptance of the communication contracts.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
approved.
And lastly, we applied and were approved for the Walmart Community Giving Grant. Walmart approved us for $5,000, which pays completely for our Shop with the Cop program. Pretty much every year they give us $5,000, so I just asked the board to accept the $5,000 donation from Walmart for the Community Giving Grant.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the Walmart Community Giving Grant in the amount of $5,000.
I'll make that motion.
second,
Any discussion on this?
thank you.
Hearing none, roll call?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
approved.
I have nothing further.
All right, any questions for police? Do you have a contract that you need signed for
Yes.
Kent State? And can you get a copy for Jasmine?
Yeah, we're gonna send it to them. Once
Okay.
they sign it, they'll give it back to me.
All right, perfect.
okay, this is the contract for the Kent State, that we just passed.
Then we'll go back to Chris because he's got to nail it.
I don't think my name is on there, is it?
No, because we got to get a signature from Kat.
Yes.
Yes, sir. All right, moving to fire department. Assistant Chief, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Under new business, 7 people have applied to the entry-level firefighter position. The first step in the process, we're doing some ride-along time right now. Interviews will follow next. Chief Mullally attended the Ohio Township Association Conference. He stated that it was very informative. And then I have one thing under board approval. I gave 2 checks to Jasmine. Approval needed on acceptance of 2 donation checks from a funeral, one of $50 and another of $25.
I'll entertain a motion to accept 2 donation checks in the total amount of $75.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Roll call?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, donations
Yes.
approved.
You guys will handle the thank you.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And there's nothing further from the fire department.
Any questions for fire today? Hearing none, we'll move into administration. All right, under administration, old business, cleanup day, event May 9th. Sue Fields, you had some comments.
Yeah, I have some comments about this. I'm looking forward to it. And what we have here is on May the 9th, we'll be having this annual event. And we're all going to be working on it to help it happen and move along. But I've had a donation from a resident who is willing to provide hot dogs and bottled water. So if you don't have anything you want to bring, but you still like to talk to us and come down, we can use that as a meet and greet, meet and greet among your scrap. So that would be fine, and I just want everybody to know that you're all invited.
And we'll move into board approval. Kimball contracts. Kevin, what's yours?
Kimball emailed Jasmine the bill or the contract for the discounted rates.
Yes.
So I guess we need to approve that, or
Yeah, so what did the discount rates come back at?
My computer died, sorry.
That's okay.
I want to say it's $576 monthly bill. Like I think we just signed a check for $723,
Let me see.
$728, something like that.
And how long was the contract for?
3 years.
I'm looking for this. This is not it. I hate that my phone died. I mean, my laptop died. Is there something else we can go to? Can we come back while I find this, please?
Yeah, we can
Thank
do
you.
that. We'll come back to board approval on the Kimball contract as she pulls that up for the exact numbers. Under new business, we have a lake doctor treatment in McGuire Park. Discussions on that. I have that built into this presentation, so we'll cover that then. So let's just move into touch a truck. Kevin, you and I talked a little bit about bringing touch a truck back for Father's Day.
Right. If the board wants to do it, I've got a preliminary agreement with Zonat and Latte.
Okay.
They would love to be involved. They've already agreed to Father's Day, like a 10 to 3. This is just preliminary. They agreed to it, so whatever we want to do.
So we typically do it on Saturday, so not
Okay.
actually on Father's Day, we do
Okay.
it the day before on Saturday. It'd be June 20th would be the day if we want to move forward with
Okay.
this. This is one of those parks events that does not cost the township any money other than have some staff there. I guess I would look to our police and fire too. Would you be willing to have some staff available? Set up cruisers and fire engines? Okay. And then Dave, same thing, having road department down there. Make that work again this year?
Yep.
So if that's the case, we can entertain a motion to officially set Touch a Truck, and then we can start getting some of those agreements.
Okay, that's fine.
So, what time would we want to do this? Typically in the past, we've done it from, I think we did it from 11 to 2 there?
It was either 11 to 2 or 10 to 2. I can't remember. It was only, no, it was 11 to 2.
And 11
Because
to
we had
12
to
was
be
quiet
set up
hour.
by 10.
Yeah, we came, it's coming around 10, quiet hours from 11 to 12, and then 12 to 2 is the
Yeah. So,
normal
mhm.
with the sirens and stuff. So we would set that from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., setup completed by 10 a.m. These people will strike at the last minute. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to set the Brimfield Township Touch a Truck
You make a motion.
on Saturday, June 20th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
And then we would just expect our staff to be present for that event. We have police, fire, roads there. And then
Do you
we'll
want
start
a
reaching out.
couple other food trucks?
Yeah, we always try to do a food truck and a dessert piece. So if we got the donuts and coffee, that's good. If we can find a food truck, that would be helpful. And then just any big vehicles that we can find, so if we start thinking,
I'll bring a couple if you want.
okay. Yeah, whatever we can get down that Dave doesn't have, we can find some different pieces of equipment.
Okay.
I'll reach out, we'll see, because I talked to Fire Chief about this too. I'll call Metro again. They did this years ago. They brought the helicopter in, and it's just dependent on weather and flights, but we'll see if they'll do it again as a courtesy. If that works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got a motion on the floor to set touch truck for the 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
approved. I can't-
Did you find it yet, or are you still?
I'm still looking.
Okay. We will go on to meeting guests. We've had couple questions come up, and I guess this is just for the board for discussion. We have public comment that we've always said at just the beginning of the meeting, and then that's it. We've also had a category called meeting guests that gives people more than 3 minutes to speak. It's 15 minutes. We've typically used that in the past for other county officials that come in that may be giving like zoning updates, or it could be a nonprofit that's doing a project with the township. But we've had some requests recently to use that meeting guest spot from citizens of the township to get 15 minutes instead of 3. So I think we need to define that at some point of what we want to consider a meeting guest and not, because then Chief Mosley's been reaching out saying, is this meeting guest, is it not a meeting guest, where do we plug them in at? And then, you know, obviously we've heard before too about public comment. Should they only be at the beginning? Should they be at the end? Where should they be? So I guess I want to open that up for discussion amongst us.
Well, I was thinking about the public comments where y'all have your 3 minutes, and when that all comes through to us, then we don't actually respond to that to get into a one-on-one conversation. And so I was thinking perhaps when the person comes in and they request and they make their request of what their subject is, I don't like to just do a knee-jerk reaction and give a comment that hasn't had time to be researched and to find out different things that you might need to know about that to give a good answer. And I was just thinking perhaps what we could do is you all give your comments. We have that to research whatever, what we need to find out about it. And then the next meeting is when we would give our reply back. That's just a thought.
Yeah, I think we always had the chance under announcements and correspondences, as individuals to respond to previous meetings also. It was under the advice of legal counsel just to take comments in instead of responding to them during the meeting.
Yeah, we've been requested to do it the way that we do it.
Yeah. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Meeting guests, I think it's more than just comments. I mean, it's bringing some actual substance, like a project or a proposal, or, I mean, I don't know how do we approve the project and then let them come as a guest the next meeting? I think that would kind of fit.
It's kind of how, so I guess a good example of that would be the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts would bring a project typically to Sue and say, hey, I have an Eagle Scout project, talk about it. And then she'd put them on the agenda under meeting guest, where they would give us the full depiction
Right.
of what that is. In the past, that's how we
Yeah.
done that. So maybe that's how we do it. If it's a project from the citizens, they send it in to the board.
Get something in writing, and then we approve that that's what the 15
We
minutes
can
is.
talk about it, and then we can have
Yeah, that-
add it to the meeting guest at that point. I'll work on some language and I'll pass it out to Roy to review and then have him share it with everybody. And maybe we'll define that for the next meeting.
Because there's something, like, you know, you can't, a project, you can't discuss it in 3 minutes.
Right.
So, yeah, we have to have a way for them to relay what they're trying to do.
So it'd be based around projects, not just public comments.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
So council also advised us in the past that we should just have public comments at the beginning or the end of the meeting. Typically at the beginning, that's when most people have them. We chose the beginning because sometimes we go into executive session towards the end of the meeting, which then could delay public comments for an hour or more, depending on executives. What are your thoughts, leaving it just at the beginning, adding it to the end, moving them to the end?
From what I learned down at OTA, there's not a real good, I mean, there's not a good answer for any of it. I mean, realistically, everybody should be allowed to comment on each thing before we vote on it, but we'll be here till Friday morning. I mean, I mean, I don't know if it makes any difference if they comment after we've already voted on these things. I mean, that's non-productive. To comment from what we did last meeting, that's non-productive. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I think that's why we put the agenda out though, too, is there, and then if we amend the agenda, that's done before we get into public comments, so it allows them that chance to speak about what's coming up.
Is there anything, like, our meeting guests come like for the 3 minutes, is there any way that if the subject is something that we're all familiar with, like procedures or whatever, you know, we don't respond back to them right at that time, but maybe during the rest of our meeting, if there was some way that we could answer, if it's something simple, that we could answer that for them to not delay things for another 2 weeks?
Yeah, we typically do. Our department heads are good about that. If it was a specific police question, Chris or Roy
Because
would answer
we're
that.
really not supposed to get into a one-on-one conversation, because I had a very bad experience, and I don't ever want to go through that again. And if I would have answered, we would have had a melee in here.
Yeah.
I can get violent at times, too.
Well, I think something to ponder. The questions
It
come up,
is,
so.
it is, it's a good
I
question.
wanted to give it a chance to be on the agenda.
Sure.
Just try to at least redefine what meeting guests are so it answers the question to the public. And then from there, we can see if we need to adjust public comments.
Sounds good.
All right? Updates. Did we find the Kimball contract?
Yes.
All right.
Have.
Jasmine, I'll turn it over to you for Kimball.
Sorry about that. So I do have service agreements, various service agreements from Kimball. The first is for the Brimfield Fire Department. For the new service, it'd be 6 yards weekly at $127. I'm reading it right? You know, this ain't my expertise, looking at trash contracts. Right. 6 yards weekly, 127?
They're emptying it weekly, it's not a
Oh,
charge.
okay, so-
that's your monthly charge.
Okay, see? That's what I needed you. All right, scratch that. 6 yards, emptying it weekly, monthly charge of $127.
And it was 147, if I remember right.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's for the Brimfield Fire Department.
That's this one.
That's it. You know I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
that's all right.
The next one is for Brimfield Police Department. 4 yards
Empty every other week.
every other week at $76 a month.
Okay.
The next one will be for roads, 6 yards weekly, same, $127 a month. I believe the next two will be for the township, 4 yards every other week, $76 a month. And then the next one would be the same, so each $76 a month. That's for two. Is that right? Sounds right?
Cemetery and library.
Okay. And then this one is for the community center, 4 yards every other week for $76 a month.
Do you have any for the cemetery?
Yep. she
Yes.
covered that one.
You
Yeah.
covered that one?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's $558 a month it takes us
Keep me
down
on
to.
your toes.
And we just signed a check for, I want to say it was $723, so
Yeah. So that's substantial savings.
$200 a month.
All right. And that's a 3-year contract. There's no changes in pricing for that 3 years.
That's what they said.
For effective date 2/9. This, it says it, effective service date 2/9. So it'll start this month, but I don't see an end date on these.
Yep, 36 months.
It's 36 months.
36 months.
Okay. All right. So we have, so I'll entertain a motion for discussion, an amended contract with Kimball for 36 months at a rate of $558 per month.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So this would save us roughly $200 a month, which is $2,400 a year. And every penny counts at this point.
And there's no change, I mean, we're
It's
not,
the same service. we have.
same service we're having.
I don't see a reason why not to change it then.
Neither.
All right. Roll call for acceptance?
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
all right, board approved.
All right, next, under new business updates, we have the Kent Brimfield JED update. Sue, you had something you wanted to share on that.
Yeah, I attended the meeting today in Kent, and at the end of the meeting, they gave me 2 checks for Brimfield. It's the 4th quarter of 2025. One check was $52,489, and the second check was for the M&I, and that was $13,128. So I was very pleased to get that. Then they also asked, like I said, they have requested from 2020 through 2025 the money listing of everything that was spent out of the M&I fund out of the Kent JED. So I just want to let everybody know that we'll be working on that. I'll give that to Chief.
Yep, we already got the email request for it,
Oh, okay,
so it's been sent to Jasmine and Chief.
okay.
Okay. All right, other questions? All right. Hearing none, AmeriGas is next.
I noticed when we signed the checks earlier that AmeriGas, the bill seemed like it was a little bit high. So I did some research, and just like always, we're paying double of what we should be paying. So AmeriGas charged us $5.79 a gallon for propane, and today you could order propane for $2.29. So I don't know what the contract is. I don't know who handles that contract. I don't know where it's at.
I will have to look into that. I don't know. AmeriGas contract.
I mean,
I'll
it's
talk
okay.
with
I just
Kirsten.
wanted to talk, I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention
Yeah.
that, again, we're getting taken advantage of by,
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a fluctuating contract or if it's based on what
Well,
what the rates were.
my propane guy, you could have signed up in October for $1.79 for 12 months, so, again,
Well, when I
just-
was looking at them, I had the question, Dave, where are the 3 propane tanks at?
Community center, cemetery. I could not tell you where the third one is.
One's not at your garage?
No, my garage is gas, natural gas.
Because we have 3 accounts, and that's when I was signing, I'm like, why do we have 3 checks, where are the 3 accounts at? And the addresses don't, 2 of the addresses don't come back to here, they come out to State Route 43, but when you Google map it, it's up there almost onto 76. So I don't even,
I know the cemetery, we have a tank there and a community center.
what do we
I'd
have
have
at the
to think a
cemetery
little
for?
bit.
Do we need it at the cemetery?
Yeah, we have well water there.
Oh,
So we have to keep the one section of the building heated,
okay.
which we don't burn a lot there. I mean, it's just, the room's set about 55 degrees just to keep everything, pipes from freezing.
Well, I mean, we're spending $600-700 on propane.
which would be 300.
Right. Well, we need to figure out, so I think we need to look at these contracts and figure out why we have 3 bills and where they're coming from, because this is the first time we had 3 laying on top of each other.
Yeah.
And the prices were different, so I started trying to figure out where we back charged. And then, long story short, it came down to 3 different account numbers. So we have 3 open accounts, Dave, and we just need to try to figure out where that 3rd one's at.
All I know is the cemetery and the community center. I'd have
Okay.
to, I mean, I didn't set the things up before, so, I mean.
I just didn't know if you
yeah.
knew from like driving
I'm just,
around. if
I'm
you
just
saw
trying to
it.
think now, because, well, I hate to say, I don't pay a lot of attention to that. Yeah, I'm not positive where the 3rd one would be at.
I'll contact them.
Can we call them and say,
I'll
give
call
us
them
a
and see if we
delivery
even have
address?
a contract too. I'll figure it out.
Where would the 3rd one be? I'm just trying to think. Nothing else.
Okay.
So,
Well, we'll start looking into it like we did with
yeah.
Crash. Okay, that'd be some more savings potentially. All right, we'll move now into admin costs. Joe, can you throw that PowerPoint up for me real quick? So, in the event of being transparent, as we move forward with everything, just go to the next slide. So Brimfield Township, here is our current situation. We're just gonna talk about the administration fund. 2026, as we began the year, due to some adjustments that were completed by audit and some changes, we had an opening balance in the administration fund. This is not police, this is not fire, this is not roads. This is strictly administration. Opening balance was a negative $53,000 to start the year, so we started the year in the hole. Based on current projections of spending the way it is, we are proposed an ending balance of 2026 of approximately $6,000 in the positive, but I put an asterisk there because obviously talking with Jasmine, we have not been through our 2024 audit. In 2024 audit, they can find additional funds and tell us that we have to reallocate those dollars back to maintenance and improvement or move them to other places, which could have a negative impact on the general fund. So that's kind of the current status of where we're at right now. And it's just an unknown that we're dealing with. Next slide. So we have some areas that we need to figure out what we're going to do cost-wise. One of those that we had discussed at the last meeting was what do we do with field rentals? We have the fields, we have costs associated with them. How do we move forward? Right now, our cost in 2025 to operate the baseball fields and the town center fields was a total of $19,168.98. What we were discussing was a potential flat rate rental cost. If we worked with the soccer association and the baseball association, charging them a flat rate of $3,000 per season, that would bring in $6,000 per season, 2 seasons per year. That's $12,000 to help offset that $19,000. I'm open to discussion on raising that price, but obviously they have to work within their means. Speaking with them, they're looking for a max of 12 weeks per season. So they wouldn't be using it the entire year either. So we'll pause there for kind of discussion from the board. Thoughts, we don't have to make a decision today, but they would like to hear from us sooner than later because they are starting to schedule field use for the seasons coming up for both things. So I'll take feedback from board, Jasmine, everybody. Just giving you an initial idea.
What do we do with it if they take it for 12, you said 12 weeks?
Yeah.
What do we do with it between the?
And it's just open, the community can use it. They can go play baseball, they can go play soccer, we can hold parks events. They all were under the understanding too that we reserve a right for blackout dates. So like when we have touch a truck, we'd say you can't use it that weekend because we got it blacked out for touch a truck. That would be part of that agreement. I mean, we can raise them out. I have not offered these numbers to them. This is the first those numbers have come out. I wanted to bring it to the board for discussion for us to send over to them. If we're not maintaining the baseball field and we get behind Dave, that's going to make it harder to maintain in the future, right, with that infield mix?
Yes.
So we're absorbing this cost no matter what down there.
Well, the baseball field, for the main, it's normally about every 3 to 4 years, we have to bring them in to re-brick it. Well, whatever you call that stuff, but they
This
come in
year,
and.
I think their bill this year was cheaper because they were just doing
They
lighter
did a
maintenance.
Right, they did a maintenance fix up. Well, and again, that's because we had them come back in and re-brick it. There wasn't a lot of grading and all that stuff done to it.
So that 19,000 potentially has to be a lot less this year.
Yes, it could be, well, a little bit this year, yes.
'Cause we wouldn't be spending 10,000 on baseball
No.
field.
This year, we probably won't spend that much on the baseball field.
I think wherever we can recoup some costs, we need to do that. So,
And I can't speak for them, but I know the soccer association stated that depending on the price point, they might have some additional donations to make for field maintenance. So pay a set rental fee and then still be able to donate beyond that. I can't speak for them, but just telling you what the conversations have been between those individuals. If you work it out, I don't know, I think it's $35 a day to rent the field this way. If you break it down to those numbers.
do you think they're receptive to having like a flat rental cost?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think to protect us, though, we need to have a no sublet clause in there. So, like, I can't run it as one association and rent it to another association for
Alright.
profit
Okay.
generating fees. But I need a dollar amount so then I can take it back to council for them to finally draft, like, the final, what our rules would be for rental. This keeps field kids playing in field, essentially, instead of renting it out. I mean, we could rent it out for the baseball field for a lot more, but then we're not gonna let field kids play here, we're gonna rent the travel teams. I think that defeats the purpose of the fields in Brimfield.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Sue?
I'm thinking of the soccer field and the baseball fields and the activities that we can offer is for our residents. Our residents are supplying the funding for that, and so if you just have a lot of people come in to use it, it's gonna tear up all the groundwork we've done to give it good maintenance on the fields. And then you've lost everything that you put in it for years and years to be able to give them a good professional ground to play on.
So just keeping it to a smaller group helps.
Keep it just, smaller groups would help to do that.
You guys have any opinions?
Whatever you can do to recoup money.
Kevin, what's your thought? You think 3,000 is too low? It's a fair starting point.
Well, I'm not in the sports arena. I don't know how it all works.
It just depends on where you go. Some fields are really expensive. The idea of keeping it low here, I mean, I don't have a per se answer to this. This was just a guesstimate.
Yeah.
So I took what we had there, divided it out, and tried to come up with what I thought would be a reasonable fee and see what we could recoup out of that.
It seems low to me, but I'm not, my kids didn't
If
play
we went to
sports.
$5,000 a season, then that gets us breaking even on the fields.
You can start there.
That sounds like a starting point, yeah.
See
They
what
can
their
always say
field
no.
is. Yeah, we can see what their response is to that and then adjust if we need to. I think the only thing to take into account, like Dave said, that 10,000 isn't what we're gonna pay every year. It's gonna be lower for 2 to 3 years.
Next year it'll be higher, so.
But
Yeah,
it's
and then in a
wash.
couple of years, it'll go back up.
the only bad thing is that we have a wet season, and then they're out playing, then they destroy the whole field. Well, that number could almost double.
Okay.
To re-put everything back in. I mean, it's a coin toss when it comes to that. I mean,
What's your thoughts, Dave? I mean, you're in the sports and the field use and.
well, I'd say I'd start out higher. I mean, I would. I'd throw out a $5,000 number.
Okay.
And then like you said, it's easier to fluctuate a little bit and come work with them if you have to come down some than it is to look at them and say, well, we need to go up. It's easier to start out higher number. Again, you're looking at the amount of kids that are in each one of them sports, which is, there's a ton of kids in each sport. So that shouldn't be a problem because we're doing, the maintenance of the fields and everything else. That kind of helps take some of that burden off. Like I said, if all of a sudden they decide they're going out and play straight mud and monsoons, and next thing you know, we're out rolling the field, adding topsoil, this and that, I think 5 would be a fairer number to start with than 3.
Yeah, I think the expectation raises a little bit when we get to 5, like making sure we're maintaining it at a certain level, being able to be played on. Which I think your crew does a great job. It's just the expectation's going to be there for that level. So you're good with it, Dave. We'll start at 5.
I'd say I'd start out at 5. Like I said, there's always wiggle room. I mean,
Yeah.
you can eat, if they come back to the youth sports in town, and they said there's just no way they can, you can always work with them to get a number that they can work with you to help absorb some of the cost. I mean, the biggest cost is, you see up there is maintenance. I mean, taking care of the landscaping of both fields.
Right.
So, this is just to help take care of some of that run off of that. The water, electric, you just turn all that stuff off. But, the field maintenance is the worst out of it all.
Is the water locked out there, or are we just paying a?
At the town center field, the waters are locked right
Okay.
now because we were having issues with people turning them on.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that-
hopefully that'll give us some cost savings for 25 also if we lock that out.
You also got to remember, I don't know what year was this from last year?
It was from last year.
Okay, because we did have some of the, we didn't have, last year. So, we did use a lot of water and stuff when we had, Brimfest.
Oh, Brimfield.
Because we ran water lines from their hoses to the vendors over here.
Okay.
So,
Joe, you put your hand up.
The town center field has a $75 per month just having the line. So
Okay.
just having water available, that is $75 per month.
Okay.
The reason for that is that lot, it was originally zoned commercial. So that is a commercial grade, inch and a quarter, it's a commercial grade water line feeding it.
Okay.
I got over to redo that service, to take it down to a half inch, which would be adequate for what we need, but would be an investment of $2,000. I think my bill was close to $3,000 to redo that water line down to half inch, to get it down to, I believe it was $35 per month for a half inch line.
Are we renting the line? What are we?
No, that's,
monthly.
Ohio is the water provider, and they charge based on the size of the service. And so since that property was initially zoned to be commercial, what service was installed there with commercial, what they consider a commercial grade water line. So that is the water line from Aqua, Ohio to the meter. The only way of getting that lower would be is to replumb it.
Yeah.
Dave, can you dig that up and cut it out of there?
I'd rip anything out if you want me to.
No.
I ain't gonna
Let's
tell 'em.
let's pull the bill and one of us will reach out to Aqua.
I don't know why we would pay a monthly fee on a line.
Well,
That
the
doesn't-
line is tied to spigots. I mean, we do use the spigots on the field when we're watering and stuff like that. So it's not just, we're not just paying the rental for the line sitting there. It's actually when we do use it.
Well, he said-
It's a fee, it's, a lot of the water departments, they have, it's like a fee thing.
It's a flat monthly fee if you use
If
zero
you
water
use
or
it,
1,000
well,
gallons.
they
you
do
pay per
charge you
gallon.
once you start plumbing and, a bunch of water. Cause I mean, when we start dumping water on them fields, it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
It's normally running 6-7 hours a day.
I could see a fee if we're not using water, but if we're using water, I don't understand why you would pay rent. You're selling me water, I'm not paying you.
Well, it's a commercial line, like Joe said. What it is, though, if you take the 75 a month and times it, then it's probably, what's the rest is what we use. So if you take 12 months,
So 900
because you're
bucks.
tied,
So
you're tied
we-
into their line, that's the thing.
So we're using about $372 in water a year there.
This just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I question my rental there.
All right, well, we can look at the cost associated with it, but for this portion,
Yeah,
set
no,
it at 5, I'll come back to the board with an update.
that sounds good.
All right. Next slide. All right, Parks Proposal Community Center, right now, we're still working on this to address some comments from earlier. It has not been determined that a real estate means that agent we're selling the community center. It just means we're doing due diligence and options to understand what options exist. To look at that property and tell us what our options are and start looking at how we might be able to balance that. All right, next slide. Parks
Oh.
Proposal. Oh, go ahead.
Can
Yeah.
the community center, the switching people to the library, that was just because Dave was having trouble keeping up with the snow. It wasn't a permanent thing. So, I don't know, whoever was asking it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, that was just because Dave was having trouble keeping the driveway clean.
Because right now, my plow's busted.
Right.
So
So-
that's in my report to you.
So,
But you guys are just talking about just going ahead and switch everybody. and
no,
then
that was
go.
because Dave was having trouble, so,
So you're talking just for the few winter months?
yeah.
Yeah.
You should, I mean, yeah, that was just,
It was a way for us to not have to plow that while his plow was down for a
Because
month
I
or
know
two.
they had talked about in the contract, whenever you sign up for it, that you had a clause in there that if it's in kind of weather, that it's canceled. Okay? I think it would be better to do that than just move people around.
well, we were just giving you the option so that, you know,
Okay? That's fine, as long as we have an option to it, because that's not the way it came across.
oh,
You know, it came across, this is what we're doing, this is what you guys are gonna
no, we weren't closing that,
do. Okay?
I don't think, right? We
No,
didn't
we're
close
just looking at what all of our options are as we
Yeah.
try to figure out the
Well,
finances.
that's not the way it
From
came
the,
across.
from the original slides, we started at negative $50,000 this year.
Yeah, okay, so go ahead.
All right, McGuire Park. I am not a pond expert, but we have this sitting on our desk. Pond Doctors is asking for $3,275 to treat the pond at McGuire Park. They also advise that we should have an added service of $2,700 for some winter maintenance to the pond. I know Chief was looking into this supposedly, but he's not here today, he's on leave, so I will take feedback comments on it.
I think Mr. Ladd.
I know a little bit about it.
Okay.
I mean, I live on a lake, we use Aqueduct. If you don't treat that lake, it becomes green moss. And that's how it was when we first got McGuire Park.
Is it something where you can miss a year, or you gotta be consistent?
You gotta be consistent. And what we did to help fund that is we created TIF Maple Crest 2,
Okay.
designated money flow perpetually for McGuire Park to help pay for the lake.
And is money coming in on Maple Crest 2 already? Jasmine, do you know?
Yes, we did receive, I think, our first one last year, our first drop last year. We haven't received anything for this year yet.
So this wouldn't be a general fund expenditure, this would be
No,
a TIF?
it should,
Yeah, it'd be
it should be
TIF.
TIF.
What about the possibility, since the whole pond and park is in the JED, would that be a maintenance out of the M&I fund to pay that?
No, I don't think so.
Would it be a question to ask?
No, you've got monies perpetually going into McGuire Park. For
It
the
would
So
TIF.
that
It would
TIF
cover
money
that?
would
That
cover it.
Maple Crest
If
2 is
level-
specifically
okay.
for
All
McGuire.
right.
Okay. All right, well, then if that's the case, if that's what we've built that in there, then we can do it. Originally, the discussion was we had to take it out of general fund, is this a cost? that
Yeah,
we need to absorb?
no,
Yeah,
it's
you
all
don't
in the
have to
TIF.
do that.
Okay,
Oh, and also we got, you could also take the survey. I think that might have came out of the general fund. That could come, so we're adding on to the pond. A portion of it is owned by Talmadge. And they're giving it to us, but we have to pay for the survey and replat. I think it was $3,000 some dollars. That could also come out of the TIF instead of the general fund.
Jasmine, maybe we can look at that as a reimbursement from TIF to the general fund then.
Right,
See
we
what
did,
that money
we
is.
did pay that through the general fund.
Yeah, so that might just be a few extra dollars.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mike.
Sure.
All right. Next, Parks and Rec discussion. I received this, and I believe the entire board received a proposal from a Brimfield resident about having a volunteer Parks and Rec director. I've just started to read through it and ponder some ideas and questions behind it. I don't know if we want to have that discussion today or table that for 2 weeks from now. Kevin, Sue, what were your thoughts on this?
I think discuss it now.
Okay. So what are your thoughts originally? I had some initial thoughts. Fine, man. I think my initial concern is when we get into volunteer positions, what's the legality and the insurance behind that? Part of the proposal was running the community center, keeping rentals available, but then that gets into the problem of cash flow, right? We got money in, money out, accessing those accounts.
I have some suggestions, if I may speak.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yes, open discussion up here.
So what we do at the zoning commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals is we charge permit fees in order to pay our board members, for example. So, it's a per diem of $125 now for the board members, but that is paid out of fees associated with the trustees when you guys set the fees. All those board members and everything is inclusive. So for example, I pulled this up. Ohio Township fees are designated to cover costs of inspection, administration, legal notice, and other expenses incidental enforcing the zoning resolution rather than make a profit. So, if you're doing this, you could create a park and recreation board. We can TIF it with one of our projects to help pay for the per diems.
Yeah, it's when we get into volunteerism that I start to worry about. It's one thing to have volunteers, another to have an employee, right?
Yeah.
And management of that, because then you get into, when you start getting into stipends, are we managing them, are we not managing them? If we are managing them and giving them direction, then are they technically employees? Because the 1099 laws have changed so much in Ohio, because we're directing them at that point. And at what point does a stipend become pay because it gets beyond a certain amount of money? Then it becomes taxable under Medicare and Medicaid, which is a whole list of other issues that we've started to kind of unravel.
I've not heard of per diem be a 1099 or taxable. That would be new to me. I mean, I've been in this 37 years. I'm not saying that that it can't be and it can't be changed. That I sat on various boards. My brother sits on boards. I go to our training all the time. There are townships that don't pay anything. There's townships that pay minimal, but they also don't bring in 100,000 or 160,000 in permits. They're bringing in 2,000-3,000 in permits that they can't afford to pay the boards. So the whole idea behind the permits, or in this case would be a TIF, is to make sure that you cover the costs of your per diem. And per diems, when you get these volunteers, you're looking at, okay, we'll give you an iPad, but you got to have your internet. You've got to drive your own car to whatever. If this is a park, you're going to drive the park. You're going to walk the park, spend your own time on them. It's not really a pay, it's just a reimbursement for their expenses. Just like traveling or anything else that wouldn't be considered a fringe benefit, it would be non-taxable.
Well, the TIF is something that's going to take some time to put in place. The proposal here was to make this happen sooner than later because the community center rentals are currently closed.
I have two coming to you. I'm going to be TIFing Joe's Barbecue, one of them. We're going to be using those proceeds, so that's up to the board where you want that one to go. We're also going to do the oral surgery center down. That one's going to be TIFed.
They're about a year behind in collection, though.
They're
right?
a year behind in collection.
So it would be a year out before 27 at the earliest if we saw the money, maybe not 28.
Yeah, and then you could also redirect some of your other TIFs, like our first TIF was supposed to go to police and fire, and I'm not so sure they're able to use it the way that TIF was originally set up, so I'd like to open that one back up to make it general so you guys can use it for this or for your police and fire as you need. So we're looking, I told Roy I'd look back into that so he could use that one. But there's other TIFs that we have done in place that you could probably redirect the money to, but it would just be going through this board, getting approval, and then going back through to the county and getting it redirected for the usement of the money, which they're not going to care because it's already TIF. So you guys do whatever you want. I'm just making suggestions. So.
Would you be interested, I know you're busy, but would you be interested in kind of like putting that together so we, I don't know.
To look at how much funds would be? Oh, absolutely. So we've got TIFs in the works right now. Mark and I are working on continuously. Dunkin' Donuts was one of them. Mike Woland is one of them. We can redirect those funds and look if you're interested in this. And we'll keep it broad enough to not only include parks, but we'll keep roads and police fire, everything. We'll keep it a blanket purchase.
I think it's a good long-term discussion, right? But we also have this short-term issue that we have to deal with. So like I said, we're out until 27, 28 on that funding right now. Do we want to consider the idea of having a volunteer parks director that's uncompensated?
Well, I think if we have a resident that wants to spend their own time and money to kind of put the parks back functioning, I think we should entertain the idea to the best we can. I mean,
I just think we just got to define some parameters behind it, because what happens if they're not available? Who's going to go do
well, that's why I
before and
think,
after check?
I think that's why we need more than, can't be just one person. It would have to be some type of a board. I know my wife, she would gladly volunteer somehow, so, Oh, no, I don't know. I'm still married. I know not to volunteer my wife. She,
You're talking about cash and money in and money out. The zoning department, they have the little queue thing that you use. You use your charge card, there's no cash. You should come with your charge card and know you don't have to bring cash in, and that way nobody has to handle any cash. It all goes through that system that they have set up. So they could set up a system with the parks, and they may already have something like that on the computer that Cassie used. So you could have it that you don't accept cash.
I guess it's just a question that becomes working with Jasmine, your office, to do the refunds and all that too, coming from volunteers into you. Is that going to complicate things on your end? Or?
We would just have to have a system in place prior to. So I think previously the system that was in place was not feasible. I think that's going to be one of our audit findings. So the reconciliation process. So a lot of pieces come into play when you're looking at charging things and having to reconcile it into one fund for the most part. So it's just a lot of checks and balances and controls that have to be put into place. But once that's agreed upon, it should be good.
So we have to build the system before we
Right.
make any other steps forward.
Right.
And is that system gonna have a cost to us, or is it something?
No, the system is just basically just controls within the department. So how are we gonna work together? How like if we're renting things, so what is the process of renting? What account code is it hitting when we collect fees? What account code is it hitting when we reimburse fees? And things of that nature. So it's just basically building a process and a system internally and executing it properly.
Okay. Is that something that can be added to your plate, or is it a long-term?
Hey.
Not right now?
I mean, it can. I mean, it can be added. You know, I go with the flow. I'm flexible.
Well, I think we need to consider it as a board and see what avenues. We got a long-term idea, short-term fix, put those together, reach out to the resident, get some more information, and then see if it's something that's feasible legally too, right? Get some feedback from the prosecutor's office on what position does this put us in a liability standpoint also. And then I like to poke holes in everything, right? What's 2 levels of failure? If this person doesn't show up, what are we doing? Who's coming in and opening up the buildings and managing it at that point?
Joe's doing a wonderful job.
Joe muted your microphone, just.
Oh, yeah, cut me off my microphone, Joe.
All right, so we'll bring that back
Good
for next
discussion.
meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, good discussion, thank
All
you.
right, next slide. Township partials. These are township parcels that are not in, I cut that off, the tax abatement piece for us. So these are the ones that we're at. We're close to getting this sent down to the state to get tax abatement, but if you look there, that is the amount of annual taxes we've been paying that we should not be paying. It is just special assessment fees. I have to pull the exact numbers, but we are looking at saving roughly, Kevin, you were pretty close, it was $28,000, almost $30,000 a year once we get these documents sent down. So it's a big piece there. Here's the issue. It's gonna take me a minute to get it done on my end because I volunteered to put the data together. The auditor's website does not tell us how much properties were purchased for. So now I'm in the process with the auditor trying to go and find like the legal documents to backfill that document. So I thought I could get it done this weekend, but I'm gonna need a week or so to dig through financials down in the county. But we'll get it to you.
It has to be on there?
Well, they do ask how much did we
How
pay
much we
for
paid
it.
for it.
Yeah.
So we got it all filled out except for how much we paid for it. So we were close. So, all right, so we'll keep working at that, but we're only paying the special assessments right now, so we're
Yeah.
sending over to them, so that does save us $15,000 right now into our bank. All right, next, while we were at Ohio Township Association, one of the conversations that came up was zoning commission and board of zoning appeals cost and what we're paying in the township. I conducted a survey based on those township association conversations with those trustees. These are the townships that have responded to the request for information to the Portage County Township Association. So we're looking at what we pay out. As you can see, the pays differ a little bit, anywhere from $20 up to $55 for the Board of Zoning Appeals per meeting. There was one township that paid their chairman a little bit more. And then zoning commission, same thing, anywhere from $20 to $55 per meeting. And then we also found that chairman pay might change there a little bit. Part of that was a discussion about what we're paying in our township when we start looking at money. Right now, we pay $125 per meeting. And we define a meeting, I believe, Mike, as opening and closing, right? So for example, this past week, we had 4 public hearings.
Yeah, so what happened is, we were below that, and I think I recommended $75 way back, it was 2020 or 2021, to the board, just about an amount of work that was being done by the boards. Of course, our zoning fees have to go up, and they have to coincide. So when you're making, if we're paying you $75 and our fees were lower, and now we went up to 125, our zoning fees have to go up with that to compensate. So this money never comes out of the general fund.
But it's money that could come into the general fund.
It's money, well, it's money that comes out of your permit fees. So there's a charge to go to the meetings.
Right.
So if you're here for a zoning amendment, zoning variance, zoning appeal, conditional use, site plan review, those all get charged. It all goes into an equation of what we look at, because we have to pay not only them, but we have to pay $10,500 to regional planning as a base fee for the reviews, and then it goes up from there. If we go over the hours and we have a boatload of submittals, that could go up to 20,000, or if you're up doing a plan, it could be 30,000. So what we have to do is we have to keep our zoning fees, not to make money. We're not allowed to make money. We're a township, so we have to
It can't be
keep.
profitable, but we can use it for other administrative costs in the township. It would be cost to offset your salary.
Some of it can be, yes.
Because my
but
issue is this, is that we're in a tight budget piece right now. We just spent $5,000 for one meeting. That meeting
So-
cost us $5,000.
But here's the thing, you know, in 2024, so for example, you paid $25,000 to the boards last year for per diems.
Yep, that's why I sent to the board.
2024, your fees that you brought in was $161,509.60. And then in 2025, it was $80,000. So, you know, some are, you pay at the end of the year, some you pay at the beginning. So there could be a wash into the next year always with that. But with that being said, you know, here's the Ohio Revised Code, Attorney General's Office. I'll say it again, cost recovery basis. Fees are intended to pay for administration of zoning, including a cost of processing permits, reviewing applications, conducting investigations, and holding public hearings.
But those are all definitions of your position, correct?
Expenses incidental to enforcing the zoning resolution rather than, well, it's both. Because conditional use permits aren't my approval. That's approval of the BZA. So they have sole approval over conditional, so you'd want to get those expenses that come out of there.
But is this not a cost center? I guess this is a question to the board.
Is
this a cost center?
so economic development? No, you couldn't cover the fees for that. For zoning end of it, not zoning enforcement, but the zoning end of it, as it pertains to permits, yes, you can. So my total cost of where we would come in is, for example, we brought into businesses for economic development last year, which led to $600,000 increase into the JUDs. That would be the economic development piece where we're paying for my salary. This, that, you know, the budget and all that would be covering your zoning board of appeals, planning commission, any kind of experts like Mike Woolland, and any other fees like Portage Development Board. Those would be coming out of your permits. Now, I don't want to get into where we're overcharging. You know, you got some really, really high fees in here. I don't want to overcharge the residents and then not pay the Board of Residents to do their per diem and get reimbursed back, because that would be
There's a difference
legal.
between paying and overpaying. When we're paying $5,000 for one night of meeting, that's a huge hit to our fund. And we only projected in our budget, and our budget's gonna be at $6,000 at the end of this year. I'm speaking, that we're $6,000, just hear me out. We have $6,000 projected to be at the end of the year. We spent $5,000, only projecting $30,000 in expenditures for zoning. We've burnt through a large portion of that money in 1 month.
Who projected the fees for zoning?
Projected what we're gonna pay out in zoning commission costs based on previous years. That's the money that we got from the finance saying, we paid out 25, we project we're gonna spend the 30,000 this year.
There's no way
That's
of,
$5,000.
there's no way of projecting zoning fees because you don't know what the
It's
applications
not
are
what I
going to
said.
be.
I said we projected what we were gonna pay to our commission members.
And how do you project it if you don't know what the applicants are?
Because every other township defines a meeting as a day.
Okay, but what happens if, okay, here's a perfect, they just went through training, and I'm not arguing with you. You could do whatever you want. If you want to lower the cost of this, go ahead, but I highly suggest for audit purposes that you lower your zoning fees. So if you're going to lower their cost, lower the zoning fee. It's not fair.
Right. My concern is we're looking at ways that we save money on the budget. And $5,000 in a meeting and $125 when the highest in the township is $55. And take that out, say it's $125, but nobody else is defining a meeting right now as open, close, open, close, open, close. Nobody else in Portage County defines it that way.
Okay, but if they do it like everybody else, like our attorney said that night, is most townships and cities have a meeting, wait 2 or 3 days, and have another meeting to approve the minutes. They're not doing that.
All these people say they pay monthly. They have one meeting a month. and that's
Every
okay.
township you have on here, if you combined all of them, they wouldn't come up to the amount of work that we do. Add them all together.
Because you have townships that just say, we just do it. And some of these people said even their employees are like,
There,
"Yeah, we don't."
every one of these, who's building like us? Atwater, Franklin, Hiram, Palmyra, they, this
When we're in
is,
a tight budget, I'm just saying, how do we lower some of the cost? That's my proposal up there. That's the
can't-
facts.
if you're gonna lower the cost of them, then you have to lower the fees. It's not fair the residents pay the fee to pay the board members, and then you cut the board members' fee and keep the fees to pay for something else. That's not fair. You can't do that.
Feedback from the board.
In 2023, permits only of what's going on in Brimfield, there were 244 records of people that have come in for projects. And $96,675 was received for those permit costs. And in 2024, it was $158,329.80, and there was 261 permits issued. And in 2025, it came to $79,267.85, and there was 231 permits. Now, that's not levy money at all. That's just strictly permits for zoning and economic development. And wherever Mr. Ladd gets his salary, there is certainly enough money from that income to handle that. And I understand and realize that our board members are 7 on each board. They are being paid $125 a meeting. Now, I do attend the zoning commission meetings. I've watched these boards, I've watched them work, I've listened to the comments. I know the backgrounds of these people that volunteer their time, and believe me, the work that they do is a stipend. So what we have, they don't come in here and have a little conversation. They are expending their time, their knowledge, and their wisdom of what they do for Brimfield. And also, in being on the zoning board, if you look back over the years, both boards are members, residents who are equipped to be very professional in what they do. And the decisions that they made has made Brimfield what it is. $10,000 a year is paid to regional planning. They're not just taking their word and their input for what they do, but it's transferred over then and taken by Todd Peets over at the regional board, and it's again gone over by their board to determine. And then when I find out what happens, Brimfield is so involved in trying to give a good community for our people. What they do, the other townships see what we have done using our legal people if we need them, and then they copy us. So they're well worth $125 a meeting. And the money that comes in, I think, supports it, and I don't want to penalize my guys.
I just look at, you said 79,000 was brought in last year. And we have to support 2 secretaries, full-time economic development person, 14 volunteers, and regional planning. And we get additional money, but the general fund is in a tight spot.
It is.
Where do we start looking for where we pinch pennies?
We sell some of that property that is sitting there vacant.
Well, when you start to look at the property outliers, there's not that many that are really vacant unless you want to start selling out parkland. When you start looking at where they are, like there's multiple properties on that list, but most of those make it the community center. So do we sell the community center?
I'm not ready for that either.
So, quick answer, yes, sell some properties, but a lot of these properties are tied together to other individual pieces that we have there. I'm saying we're in a tight general fund piece. We have a cost that's coming out of a projected 30,000, we're gonna be over that 30,000 this year. We have to balance our budget. It has nothing to do with the work that they do. I've served on those boards, it is work, I get that, but I also did it for a very low fee, just as other townships around here do. It's important that we, as administrators of this budget, start to be really serious about what we're doing. We inherited a mess. Every time we turn the page, I called Jasmine excited with some money findings, and then she said, well, Nick, I got some bad news for you.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
are.
stop calling Jasmine, because every time it's bad news. But we have to tighten our bootstraps. We've gotta start saving money. This is about $125 a meeting. Maybe it's a discussion we have, $125 a meeting, but we redefine meeting. When it's $5,000 in one day, that's 1 month. We got 11 months to go. How much money are we gonna spend before we start to bankrupt the township? Do you wanna look at fire and police and go, you know what? We're not gonna pay for those cruisers. Can't pay for your fire engine, but we're gonna pay zoning $125 a meeting. I think we have to start to rethink this. It's tight times. What are we willing to give up? What changes are we willing to make? Kevin, what do you think?
I have no idea. It's a mess. I don't know.
I mean, we're gonna surpass the 30,000 this year.
How did we come up with that 30,000? Do they know?
Oh, I projected 30,000. So everything in my projections is based off of previous years. As we know that previous years aren't reliable, but I had to work with something, you know. So I have to base our budgets off of something. So I used the past 3 years, and also 2024 to get me to the figure. Of course, this year I have to literally every month I have to go line item by line item and track revenue. I have to track expenses because I can't rely on our financials. So everything this year is a pivotal year for us. It's going to actually be. This is how we do things, but this is actually, we can expect this kind of revenue. We can expect this kind of expenditures moving forward. So everything this year is a guessing game, unfortunately.
And according to the prosecutor, we have, as a clear reading of the above statute, is predicated on the Board of Trustees appointing funds to the zoning commission to perform its responsibilities. Since the appropriation of funds typically occurs when the townships approve the budget, we haven't approved the budget for this year. We have to have this discussion now before Jasmine brings that final budget up. That's why we're having this discussion. It's about how do we balance the budget, because we're in a tight financial spot. And we're at minimum staffing. We're below minimum staffing. We can't even run the community center right now because we don't have enough staff.
So, if I may, can I go ahead?
Absolutely.
So here's the issue with it. Zoning Commission did have a lot of public hearings. I'm not going to lie. Last year, we had an enormous amount of public hearings. And here's why. We don't have $100,000 to redo our zoning code. We can't pay a consultant $100,000 to go through our zoning code, redo the whole zoning code, come to one meeting, have one public hearing, and say, here's your new code. It's all legal now. What we're doing is we're taking section by section as we find problems, and there's huge problems within the zoning code. Nick, you know this. This is one of the tasks you put me with. And as we do this section by section, you have to have public hearings. It's part of the process. And if you look at my year-end report, there's 4 pages of motion numbers from the Zoning Commission on what they did. Agricultural motions that the trustees have put down to the Zoning Commission, and then things that were passed from trustees pushed back on the Zoning Commission where we had to do more public hearings. For example, we're taking, next one, we got 4 public hearings for you guys coming up. They're getting rid of the subdivisions and the PRDs with an R2, which is huge, but it requires lots of public hearings. These type of things are timed, as well as we were the first township and first city, I believe the first city in Portage, and I know we were before the county to come in and institute a comprehensive land use plan. Since we did the comprehensive land use plan, the Zoning Commission and myself did all of the work along with our hours at Regional Planning Commission. That's $100,000 to do a comp plan. Nowadays, maybe $150,000 to do a comp plan. We succeeded doing this all within the constraints of $25,000 with our board, which is paid for by permits. In that time period, they've saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not only to say that the money in permit fees are not what zoning brings in alone. As I said, the businesses that we brought in through economic development proceeded last year alone, we added $600,000 to the JEDs. That's just in income taxes. That's not the property taxes. That's not the TIFs that we're helping fund McGuire Park with, or we're gonna run Water Down 43 with. We're trying to be very, very creative. And I'd hate to see, you take the money from the zoning boards, but then, like I said, I got misdirected when I was talking to you, but at the time I came with $75 per diem, I want to say it was 20, I'd have to look back, 2020, 2021, I brought it to the board, and the board said, that's not enough money. Mike Kostinsky said, that's not enough money for the boards. I proposed 125, and then unanimously approved by the board at 125 per diem. I don't see anybody else taking reduction in pay throughout the whole township, no
It's
matter
not
what.
pay. It's not pay.
It's a per diem, it's a per diem,
It's a stipend.
it's a per diem,
Right.
yeah.
But the other issue that I find is when I was on the zoning board, no matter how many public hearings we had or what we did, that one night was a night of pay of $50 or $40. Now all of a sudden we're at this,
I understand where you're coming.
and that's, you have to admit, $5,000.
But-
Looking out at our audience right now and saying, hey, I just spent $5,000 to hold a meeting for 2 hours. Some of those, I was in here when it happened. It was, we have a public hearing on ABC, open up the floor. Nobody's here. Close the floor. That's $125. You're making $125 every 5 minutes.
But by law, they can actually take that meeting and say, okay, I'm gonna have one public hearing on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and one on Thursday, and those are different days. And then by right,
But we as the board have the right to set the amount of money that is eligible for that process.
yes, you can.
And that's what I'm asking us to
But
do,
what I'm
or to
saying-
change the definition of this, because we're
And-
running into a problem where it's way too much money, and I think we need to reconsider this.
And what I'm trying to stress, and I don't mean to interrupt you, what I'm trying to stress is if you change the amount from 125, you have to change the zoning fees. Otherwise, the auditors are gonna come to me. So I wanna make it very clear that if you're gonna change the fee, I'm gonna change the Z, and I'm gonna come back to you and say, these fees need to be lowered because we're paying them less, and we don't need it.
But
That,
those
now,
fees are supposed to be for administrative uses. We're paying 2 secretaries to do the administrative work. We have you, and yes, we do get some additional tax fund, but look at the strain on police, fire, and roads. Yes, it's great that we have economic development, but we're also seeing the strain on them, and these are all financial headaches that we're dealing with right now. And at the time when Mr. Kostinsky was here and John was here, they said, yeah, we got flush with money, spend the money, and now we're finding, as we pull back the proverbial curtain, the money's not there. And we're in a financial spot where there's times that we don't pay them for months. That's the other issue, is we found out from one township, they're pulling Medicaid dollars out of that, so now we gotta go to the auditor and figure out, should we be pulling those dollars out of stipends because they're so high? And then we're also finding out other communities don't pay monthly, they just pay annually.
yeah,
And those are, if these people are in it to do it for the good of the community, they're here for the good of the community, not the money.
oh, I get that, but everybody that works on the board understands it. I don't think there's anybody disagreeing that, they're doing it for the goodness of their hearts. This isn't it, but you have to understand that we're asking them to use their own internet in their house. Some people didn't have internet in their house. They got internet just to be on the board. They're using their own vehicles. Gas has gone up. Vehicles have gone up. They're using their own time and their own resources to go to their meetings, they're going to trainings, they're going to the actual sites. When we're doing a comp plan, this board is driving the entire township over and over and over, meeting with people, looking at agriculture areas, how to preserve agriculture areas, as well as when you get a variance, you said on the BZA, you go out to the site. I think some of our members that are here tonight are actually on the boards in their communities. I think, Rod, you sit on the board as well and get a per diem. This is, you have to travel the site, you have to look, you have to go to the site, and you have to do your homework. And everything has gone skyrocketed, in price. And it's just, I hate to say, well, it was good enough in 2020 that you make this per money, but now that we're going into 2026, we're gonna cut you in half now that everything else went up. It doesn't make sense.
I think it's something we have to consider. I sit on boards and I get no per diem for those boards. There's boards I sit on, I volunteer hours after hours and drive, and I spend money for the boards. I mean, I just, when we're in a tight financial spot, if you want to go to the next slide, I think this board needs to consider cutting those costs down to, right now, 2025 was 25,000. This year we're at 30,000. If we change that down to $50 per meeting stipend and define a meeting as a calendar day, we're saving 21,000, and that doesn't seem like a lot of money sometimes, but that's a lot of money when the general fund's at a $6,000 mark right now. I think it's something that we need to take under advisement and start to have conversations with, and if we need to, we can, entertain through the prosecutor's office. I don't want to pay outside counsel for this. We'll take it to the prosecutor's office and see if we need to change something.
We do have some old stuff that, yes, you can take it to, but we do have some old stuff from Mark, because when you guys upped it last time, you asked for an interpretation from legal, and I think there's one already that exists.
Take it back to the board. Do we want to take this forward and get prosecutor's opinion on it with more in-depth beyond what they originally sent us in the letter? Do we want to?
I'd want to see what Attorney Gaddetti, what he said before we take it further, to see, to pull up what he said other way for
And
this.
if we have files here, that's great, but I don't want to pay him any more money, because that's the next slide coming up. We got to start cutting. We're spending. We're bleeding here.
Well, he's
the ship
already
is sinking.
done the work. All we have to do is find his written report that he gave us.
Yeah, and then I'd ask the prosecutor to review it also. There's no cost for the prosecutor to look at it.
So, Mike, is that right? 2025 was 25,000?
What we paid zoning members?
So you have 14 members, and they average about 2,000 apiece for the year. That's about right.
How does that figure if we spent 5,000 at the last meeting? It doesn't jive.
Well, you had everything pulled into one meeting, one night. Now, usually it's spread out throughout the year. They decided to move forward, boom, 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 with a bunch of stuff. Now, for 6 months, you're probably not gonna have a public hearing. And then, it could happen all at once, depending on how backed up Regional Planning Commission is and how they get their material back from regional. Now, this just so happened that regional kicked back all this stuff to us that was sitting, and now all of a sudden you have this time constraint of 30 days that you have to vote on stuff. So they're like, we need to have these meetings right away. As well as you're gonna see in my report, you have to have these meetings set up next meeting. Otherwise, we're not following the law, and we'll be challenged on what we're doing. But we did save a lot of money because we don't do the paper anymore. This last year, that was one of the fees that was taken out. We don't advertise. It was like $300-400 every time we advertised in the paper. Now we're doing it on social media and the website.
Additional comments? We want to table it and take it back to the prosecutor's office?
I think we need some input from prosecutor probably to see.
It just seems like a lot of money. It's a lot. It's about the money. If we weren't in such a financial piece, we wouldn't be picking apart every single piece that's out there. But I spent hours picking apart Jasmine's budget, and not picking her apart because it's Jasmine putting it together. I'm trying to find dollars that we can save everywhere. They keep calling her, I'm like, hey, I found $1,000 here, right? It's an opportunity to save money. We have to balance this budget. This admin fund has to become more balanced. We have to do something different.
What about the employees that we had that we no longer have? What happened to the payroll that they were receiving that we're no longer paying that out?
That's the $1 million question. We don't know how it would balance next year, because this is without Holly's pay in there, without the admin pay in there. This is without the parks assistant in there.
Right, so our budget, so technically Holly, so we were set to have about $100,000 carryover, but we have adjustments. We had those audit adjustments happen, which really did some damage to us. Now, the thing we have to consider is what other adjustments are coming down the road. So we have 2024 audit, we have 2025 audit. So I went back as much as I could to kind of foresee 2025. I still don't know, because every day I'm learning something new. Like, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. So we know something about to blow up, but we just don't know how big it's gonna be. So right now, we have to position ourselves to the point, how can we work with what we got in the most efficient manner? Where can we cut costs, but still work efficiently and effectively? Like, the $1 million question is, I can't answer the question because I wasn't here. How did we get here? Because right now we're doing things and we're trying to work backwards. Like, we've implemented things and now we're trying to take it away. So we have to figure out, how did we get here? Like, how did we get here and how do we fix it? How do we correct it? How do we build a stronger foundation for the township? Like, I'm gonna be honest, because that's just me. I'm gonna be real. Like, all the decisions we're gonna make is not gonna make everyone happy. We're gonna have mad residents. And I'm sorry that we are. But at the end of the day, we have to think about the township overall. I'm sorry what happened fiscally before me. I can't speak. All I can offer is an apology. And do what I can do to put us in a better situation. And yeah, that's all I got.
Well, I don't see where you're talking about this park person. I don't see where we're in any position where we can make any changes with any new personnel, where it involves, because we're already, we're so far in the hole.
Oh, yeah, we can't.
We can't go out and hire somebody to fill a spot, even though we're so stressed out and we don't have enough people to actually do all the jobs that need to be done, but we can't go out and find somebody to do those jobs. You're
Right.
not gonna do it for nothing.
Well, that's where the volunteer position came in from a resident proposal, but
Well,
we
that's
gotta
that's a
cut.
nice proposal, but I don't know how in the world we would ever even take one little mouse and add it.
Well, and that's the problem. We gotta start cutting costs. And listen, this is not an easy conversation, and I'm sure there's gonna be some people that are mad at me. There's gonna be some zoning board members and zoning commission. They're gonna be mad about this, but you know what? It's my job to manage them funds, and now that we're seeing what's really there and the problems, we gotta make some changes. We have to balance this budget. We can't go into 27 in the hole again. We have to start making some changes here. And so we just, every dollar that we can look at, and we're gonna go to the next slide in a minute, we're gonna start looking at legal fees. Where can we start to cut money everywhere we can? Because we're upside down.
I like the idea of talking to the prosecutor's office. But number one, I'd like to have that conversation with them and show them the breakdown of fees so that we're not overcharging. I don't want, it has been installed in me over the last 37 years of me doing this. And this is not only from Mark Adetti, but his predecessor, Joe Deemer, and from, being on Cuyahoga Heights, Beechwood, everywhere I've been, it's installed. You cannot make money. You are, a township or a municipality, you cannot make money on this. You can reimburse your expenses, but when you start charging too much, for example, the apartments behind the elementary school, there's over $100,000 worth of permits sitting there on those apartments. That's a lot of fees. Of course, we're paying out $25,000 here, but if we take away these fees, cut these in half, and I'm coming in with $100,000, and we're only, paying them $12,000, I have trouble justifying what fees we're taking in compared to what we're expending
Costs
out.
have gone up since you've been here. Prior to you, we had Dick Mesner and a part-time secretary, if we were lucky. Some of that was just Mesner. Now we have you, and this isn't a dig, right? But now we have the higher salary, and then we add in a full-time secretary and a part-time secretary that's working 30 hours a week. So we got 70 hours a week of secretary work happening, plus a 40-hour salary employee. Like, that's a much bigger cost than we had before, so the fees have to start to offset some of that too.
Well, I'm saying is economic development is a separate portion. And
Right.
economic development brings in money not in fees, but it brings in what you bring in. And I brought in a lot. I mean, I've gotten so much heat for the amount of stuff we brought in. But in all, if we didn't bring that stuff in, where would you be now minus $600,000 in the budget this year? I mean, I took a lot of heat for all of the stuff we brought in, and the boards took a lot of heat, but minus that 600,000 extra that we brought in this last year.
600,000 of the JED, so we got 300,000 of it.
Okay, take away 300,000, where would you be right now?
Would have had
Yeah.
hired 3 more firefighters, so it's 300,000. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they kind of go in line with each other is the point. And
Yeah.
I'm here to argue that point. Our concern is our admin fund is upside down.
Yeah.
We gotta, everybody's gotta cut pennies.
Well, and-
Everybody's gotta penny pinch everywhere we can.
And that's what I'm saying is I think regional planning, I think what, maybe I'm not stressing my point. Maybe the permit fee shouldn't go into the general fund. Maybe it should go into an escrow account. And then you can escrow your expenditures out of the permit fees, so it's not affecting the general fund in any way. So if in essence.
But then how do I charge escrow for your time when you're dealing with the permits? And how do I charge escrow?
Well,
when
that would
Jenny
be,
touches
it
on
would be a lot, because you could break it down and you could say, okay, I'm doing, 3/4 of the time economic development, quarter time or half and half, however you want to break it down. And you could take half the fee and say, here you go, this fee goes towards the permits. Is Jenny working half the time on cemetery? Okay, it's still coming out of zoning fees, it's not coming out of cemetery. So I mean, you could start breaking it up into what we're actually doing. The reason we're utilizing Kayla so much is because Jenny spends 25 hours a week on cemetery. So we need the help, So I don't think it's an increase in personnel, I think it's an increase in load on my department. We never had cemetery, and that's something that we took on, and.
Plus, because right now everybody's got to do more with less, and that's where we got to start cutting.
But that's
back.
what I'm saying, we're trying to juggle all these hats, and I'm still taking on the park stuff. I'm trying to pick up some of the stuff that was left behind on that, and,
I
how do
think
you
we
break
just
the
need to
time?
evaluate it. I say we take it to the prosecutor's office and have some conversations with them, because we got to redefine meetings first of all, in my opinion. This $5,000 in one day, that's so much money that we spend. So I think we have to start to look at that and make some changes. And then we got to look at the legalities of this too, Jasmine, as you and I talked about. Are they beyond stipend now? Is this going to add into some IRS pieces? We need to talk to the auditor's office about it, because it's the feedback we're getting from another township now. All right, next slide, please. I think it's the other piece that we got to start to consider. We look at our legal fees for 2025. Murdoch, we spent $1,300 on. Deemer, $22,000, and Zassin and Rich, $315. This is just general fund expenditures. It's my recommendation that everything has to go through the prosecutor's office. If an opinion is wanted from somebody else, then we got to bring that to the board to get some approval, because we got to pump the brakes on how much we're spending. And I think we have to slow that down.
I have a question on that one.
Okay.
Who's gonna do the TIF?
What's that?
Who would do the TIF then?
These are pieces that we're gonna have to work out. So if we had to do the TIF, that might be a Deemer and Associates piece, right?
Yeah,
But
those are,
it's when we run to Deemer with every single question. Oh, we got a question about this. We got a question about that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all got to start going to the
That doesn't-
prosecutor's
I don't
office.
do that, yeah.
We've got to stop running it
Yeah.
for Deemer.
What I found out later was that with Holly using DMARC so much, she was using DMARC, but that usage wasn't coming through us.
Right.
And that really had hurt us.
And it's not against their work. Deemer does great work. Zashin does great
You
work.
don't need
But
to
it's
call
about
them that much.
where can we save money? We have a county appointed prosecutor that costs us nothing. It might take an extra week to get an answer, but right now, that's $25,000, right? That's balancing the budget some more. So I don't know if we need a motion on that, but it would be my wish of the board to say, hey, we need to send everything to the prosecutor unless it's a special project that's deemed to need to go to Deemer and Associates.
Yeah.
And we can say, hey, TIFs are going through Deemer and Associates. That's fine.
there's a conflict if I have the prosecutor's office do some of these TIFs, because we're taking county funds and using it for the township.
Right, and that's fine. We could say, hey, TIFs go there, but all other work, like, we got to start running more through the prosecutor office. I get that it's not the fastest response. It took them, 8 days, 9 days to get back to me, but what else do we do when we're in this administrative position? And this is the transparency. We told people we'd be transparent. This is it. I mean, this is not an easy conversation to have up here. But, so I don't know how the rest of the board feels about the legal fees. Thoughts, guys?
I agree. Go through the prosecutor. That's what they're there for.
It saves us money.
Well, I don't think, the D-Mart was like 22,000 last year. That issue, I don't think is going to exist anymore, because that telephone chain line isn't being called. So I can't see.
But I think
that.
we have to make it well known that this is the wish of the board. Is
Yes.
that we gotta start using prosecuting for everything.
Yeah.
So we'll watch it, if we start seeing the bills rolling in, Jasmine let us know, we can make an official motion, but.
Well, we
Now,
talked,
police, for example, if you wanna use your fund and go to Zasher and the Rich, that's fine, I mean, that's your, we're talking admin fund right here.
I don't want to put everything through the prosecutor's office. I think we should have a discussion and decide if what is important enough to be sent someplace else.
Well, I think they could. They can come to us and say, hey, listen, we ran it through the prosecutor, or this is gonna be way out of that ball field, can we cap some expenditure? We get a little more checks and balances. And they say, yeah, at the next meeting, send me up the chain to whoever they recommend. We're not saying nothing would ever go, but it's gotta come before the board and fiscal to say, is this gonna work? So we start to micromanage stuff like this.
I'll just say for
Is
the
there-
police department, that we don't use Ashton and Rich all that often, but there are specific reasons, and it's usually labor involved, which we don't contact the prosecutor's office for labor relations.
Yeah.
So that's usually when we use Ashton and Rich.
Yeah, and they're just a small blip for us too, because we had a labor question once, but really it's about how do we cut back on the general fund. This whole conversation's about the general fund, I mean, obviously you're managing your budgets.
Well, I saw the 315, I knew that wasn't mine.
Yeah. All right, next slide. Last one, just Brimfield Library. I'm still working on that. I was so buried in everything else, I did not call this week.
You know, I remember that was your original idea,
Yep,
to do the library, and it's a beautiful asset for the community. It really is.
it gets a lot of use and.
A lot
it's
of use.
Probably the most popular one in the county. It's a great resource we have here. All right, any questions on that? All right, that gets us through admin. Let's move on to zoning and economic development. What was yours, sir?
Thanks. So permit fees, we just did receive 5,090. Yeah, that's our year-to-date so far. So I should take care of that meeting. Board approval, request to schedule public hearings for the following proposed text amendments for zoning commission. So this is just meetings that you need to set up within our timeline here. Our meeting was last Thursday, and we have 30 days to set these up. Amendments to Chapter 10, definitions to clarify the definition of building height and to create a new definition for the eave. This one is a result of our hotel that came in. We have a 40-foot maximum height from the front facade to that eave. And it doesn't say anything about the back of the building. So even though we hit that 40-foot in the front, there was a section of the code that, you know, an architect could say, well, I'm going 80 feet in the back and 40 feet in the front. And there's nothing to stop that. And, you know, we listened to the fire department, and there's concerns of that without having a ladder truck. So that's the first one we need to do. Creation of Appendix F lighting standards. So this one is kind of unique. The zoning commission has created a new lighting standard for the town center so that all lights are uniform, whether it's commercial or in the roadway, and also with the availability to go to LED and save money for the township. I know Bill and Robert are here. Those are the primary two zoning commission members. They actually, Robert is an electrical engineer by trade, and Bill Anderson worked with electrical and electric. He was vice president of Thompson Electric his whole life and is retired, so we have a world of knowledge with electrical. They took that knowledge from the board, created standards for a whole code section of the code to save the township money. And this is part of this public hearings I'm talking about, and part of the amount of work we're doing. We didn't have to pay for an engineer. They did it for $2,000 that year. I think that's a steal. Anyways, that's coming on. That's a public hearing for that. And then we have an amendment to section 304.2B to remove planned residential developments and to make necessary updates and appendices to CE to reflect the removal. During the election, we heard about, there's overbuilding, too many homes going in. Now we are averaging 30 homes a year. is what we've averaged from 2018. But there's a worry that there's an overbuild of developments. And so we listened to the trustees and wanted to save agriculture. So the zoning board came up with this, the zoning commission came up with this amendment to take planned residential developments out of the R2 zoning district. This is going to eliminate the possibility of approximately 20 to 30 subdivisions. I can't remember the number. Was it 24? 24, 24 possible subdivisions going in there. Now they could still do subdivisions, but instead of them going to quarter-acre lots, they have to go to 1 acre. So if they do a new development, you can do it. You just got to follow straight zoning code. That was at a request of the trustees in the election. And then there's amendment to section 401B to remove number 51, institutions for human medical care such as not limited to hospitals, clinics, mental health care facilities, and nursing homes. The problem with this is I came across this. We have an oral surgery center going in next to Tamarack, which is going to bring a ton of money for us to the township as far as their salaries. We have surgeons coming in. We have like roughly a 2% income tax on this that we share with Kent. We're going to be getting that income tax from there, and we're looking at this section. In their code, they came in on a lot that was 1.95 acres. By code, I would have to deny this oral surgery center coming in because it wasn't 2 acres with this. So they got a variance, and BZA granted it, and I went back to zoning commission. I'm like, this is. I hope, is this what you guys want to keep? And their recommendation is no to the trustees. So the trustees will have a chance to vote on all these. These are all recommendations. These weren't formal approvals. The formal approval comes from the board of trustees. But right now, we need to set up public hearings for these. So I hope I explained everything well.
No, that's good. Do you think 15 minutes of public hearing, 10 minutes? What's your recommendation?
15 minutes on this because we didn't have anybody come on these.
Okay, I didn't know if we want to go shorter to try to condense it some, or you think 15's good?
10's good. I'm good with 10.
Everybody think 10?
10's fine.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to set a public hearing for March 2nd at 6:20 PM to hear public comments on amendments to Chapter 10 definitions to clarify the definition of building height and to create a new definition.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on March 2nd at 6:30 PM for creation of Appendix F, lighting standards.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on March 2nd at 6:40 PM for an amendment to section 304.02B to remove number 8, planned residential developments, and to make the necessary updates in appendices C and E to reflect the removal.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on March 2nd at 6:50 PM for hearing public comments related to amendment to section 400.10B to remove number 51, institutions for human medical care such as but not limited to hospitals, clinics, mental health care facilities, and nursing homes.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Anything else from zoning?
No, thank you.
All right, any comments for zoning? All right, thank you for the report. We'll move into road department. Dave, floor's yours.
Alrighty, we'll try to make this quick. I just want to know if there's any, Kevin, you hear any more about the mowing contract stuff?
Yes, I did. I brought the 3 best proposals. Do I mention who they are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
okay.
Because they weren't sealed bids, so when they're
Okay.
sealed bids, we'd have to break them open and go through the whole process, but this is just gathering information.
So that everybody knows, ABC was who was mowing the cemetery. They were previously $37,000 for the annual charge, and they were upping it to $48,000. So we made a few phone calls, and the lowest bid we got back was from Suncrest Landscaping, $33,303.75. And then we got Pro Finish, their lawn care service out of Ravenna, and they came in at, I want to say, $33,500. And then Mock Landscaping out of Mogador came in at $39,520. So, they bid based off of ABC's contract, which was a little vague. So my suggestion is maybe Dave meet with these three, I don't know, the two lowest, I don't know. Because there were some questions about, well, there was so much snow they couldn't see anything, first of all. But they also, they want to make sure that we're getting what we want. And I don't know, because I wasn't here. So Dave would be the guy that knows. But I don't know what we want to do. I mean, we can accept them, have Dave talk to them, make sure everything's in line. But they based everything off of ABC's contract.
So there's a couple things we could do. 'Cause I know we're under the gun with ABC. I will say I talked to them just in transparency. This is not about quality of work.
Nope.
I want to make that very clear to the public. This is not about quality of work. This is about financial expenditures and how do we save money and where do we look to save dollars at. And there was that increase, so we needed to do our due diligence. Couple options. We could just accept the lowest bid and go forward with it. We could accept the lowest bid pending conversations with Dave or reference checks. We could table this and bring it back in 2 weeks, but I know ABC wants an answer. You can vote and say it's A, but pending background or interview process, and then if not, it would be B. There's a couple ways that we can carve that up. Dave, what's your thought process here?
Well, I mean,
And I don't know if you have any feedback about any of these companies. I don't know if you've worked with any of them before, if they've
I-
been here before.
I mean, I hate to say I haven't heard of any of them. So, I mean, again, I wouldn't be able to say I've worked with them, so.
I know Suncrest is pretty large.
Yes, they are.
Where are they based out of?
Hudson.
I mean, if
Back
you
when
want
I
me
worked
to,
for the hospital, they did all the work in SUMA.
have they ever worked with the cemetery before?
Yep.
Well, I'm just making sure
Yeah, I
because
know.
I don't want to, I mean, I hate to say it, as long as they're bonded, permitted, all that's, insured. I mean, I don't know what they consider was so vague on, it's just, it's mowing and taking care of the fixtures and that stuff. Now, do they also incorporated, the police station is with this contract? Okay, because I know one gentleman I talked to, he was like, well, wait a minute. And I was like, well, no, this is everything that's here, so.
How long is the contract for? Is it just a one-year contract or
I
3
believe
years?
it's a 2-year.
Most of them are normally 2-year contract.
Okay. How much is that,
How much is
the contract for,
33,000?
for how long?
2 years.
2 years?
Well, that's per year.
Oh,
so-
per year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 33,000 a year.
Which is a $15,000 savings.
Dave, thoughts? Do you want us to make a pending new meeting with them and make sure that it's meeting everything that you expect? Do you have an input here too, so I want to.
I'm fine with whatever direction you guys want to go with it. Don't get me wrong, I didn't have no issues with ABC. They always did a great job for us. Again, I would like to move forward as quickly as possible because if we're not gonna hire them, I wanna let them know they're done. You know what I mean? Where he can move on, fill his slots up. I mean, again, I'll leave it up to the trustees. You guys can make the call and we'll go from there.
Kevin?
Uh,
Roger.
I was just trying to help out. I don't know if it's a project. Suncrest, I mean, that's a good-sized company. I don't have any dealings with them. Jasmine said she,
They do our development.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're in the area. They don't have any
Not looking
bad
for an
reviews.
official recommendation, but do they do a decent job, it seems like?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
They're a big company. They're not like,
To your contract, I mean, if it doesn't work out, we can always change. Is there, what's the out clause on that?
I didn't go through all it. Sorry. I think I saw a 30-day just written cancel.
So net 15, Jasmine, is that gonna be okay?
Yeah. That would be good. It's in our budget. It should be.
Yeah, this all comes out of the road budget.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm just saying for like internal
Yeah.
processing, like some companies want, some locations want net 30 instead of net 15.
I mean, we can table it.
It's got a 30-day notice for termination by either party without any cost. So there's an out there at any time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to go forward with it tonight.
You want to see this,
We
Dave?
can move on. I
Sure.
don't hold it.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, no, I mean, all depends on,
I just looked at cancellation dates, so if you want to look at the
Yeah.
front part, it's.
well, the charging us taxes.
Yeah, so that's actually lower.
Yeah, yeah, that's gotta be subtracted off. Let's see. I mean, they pretty much got, the same things on here as, what we consist of this.
Okay.
Floor's open for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Suncrest.
Second.
Do we gotta amend the agenda?
Do we have to amend?
Because I didn't have it underneath board approval, I had just, was going through this.
Okay, yeah, so make a motion to amend the agenda. So I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add mowing contract from updates to board approval. So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
now I'll entertain a motion to appoint Suncrest as the police and cemetery mowing contract for 2026 and 2027.
I'll make that motion.
The
Second.
yeah, go ahead.
I'll second it.
2 seconds. And the total cost on that, Dave?
Well, you want me to subtract off the taxes?
Yeah.
Take the taxes off, it's $31,125.
Did you see something in there, Dave?
I was just looking at, they have a thing where they can adjust the cost if, certain prices go up. But I think I got the same
It
cost.
was the
in
same,
ABC,
ABC
yeah.
had something in there too.
So I'm just glancing through, trying to read this fast, and I don't read too fast. No, it looks good.
So a motion and a second on the floor for Suncrest at 31,000. Any additional comments? Roll call.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
All right, I'll contact ABC tomorrow and let them know we're
Okay.
moving to a different avenue. Okay, next thing, right now, the plow for the pickup truck. We are waiting for parts to come in. They gotta come in from Minnesota. So hopefully it should be together in the next couple of days. We'll have it back out here for the parking lots and everything. Last 2 weeks, we had 4 funerals. I actually have a funeral tomorrow. Some new business. I ordered 200 more ton of salt, which will put us right near the end of our ordering. We still have about 250 ton we can still get. But just to let you know, I wrote my report on Friday and it showed up Friday and today. So we have our 200 ton that came in. So we're actually in, knock on wood, decent shape for anything that's coming, which is coming this weekend, just to let everybody know. We're starting to coal mix a few potholes. We're working, I had trouble finding coal mix So I did get a couple ton from the county, so they're just gonna charge us what they paid for it. It's actually really nice stuff compared to what we normally get. The company we normally get it from, they have not decided to make coal mix yet. They're starting this week. So we'll get into that a little more. We just got a little bit to fill some of our major potholes.
So Willow Way where I'm at is starting to blow up all in front of our
Yeah,
place.
they actually should have filled some of them holes today.
Okay, yeah, I just noticed it yesterday. There was,
Willow Way is gonna be a fun one once the season's over. So,
it's looking rough.
well, drive down my shop driveway after them salt trucks. Put her in four-wheel drive. We fixed a few street signs. We checked over trucks and plows, getting everything ready to go for the next storm, which is coming. We have one truck, which I hate, that's why I had to step out. They're working on it now. We're having trouble with sensor and electric wiring on it. So TSI is working on it right now. It keeps throwing a different code to them. Every time they get to this sensor, it's fine. The next so they think we might be having a wiring issue. And that's one of our newer trucks. So they're working on it. I told them, I said, if it's runnable, let me know. We'll run it through the storm until you have time to work on it a second time. Again, I won't run it if I'm gonna damage the truck. Let's just put it that. It's just one of them. We'll see what happens. We're looking in the near future of probably gonna rent a hot box, which what we did last year, where we could get a hot, cold mix, asphalt mix, where we can go around and kind of permanently fix the potholes. That won't happen until we know we got a stretch of decent weather for a couple of weeks in a row, because I don't want the hot box in there we're renting and it's use it one day, sits 3 days, that kind of thing. So again, we'll just use normal cold mix to fix things up and keep things moving that way. Something I forgot to put on a report, we did have our first task force meeting with soil and water and the county and stuff today, going over some things. The next meeting, I forget what day it is, but it's in a month, so that's all starting to fire up now too, the task force for the stormwater management stuff. And other than that, that's all I got.
We do have to entertain a motion for the Ohio Department of Transportation Township Highway System Mileage Certification. The township will be responsible as of December 31st, 2025 for 47.151 miles. So I'll entertain a motion to accept this.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So previously we were at 46.915, we went up to 47.151. Dave, we added Brimfield Ridge Circle at .161 and Parliament Drive at .075.
Okay.
Those are the two roads, those are the only two roads we got this year.
Oh, that's right, yeah, Parliament was the add-on up there with, by Aldi's. They added that little piece on there, and, I'm trying to think where the heck that little Brimfield piece is. I think that's part of that up there too, along that piece where it ties into the stop sign. Yeah, right by Aldi's, all that stuff. I forgot about them.
So we got a motion, a second on the floor to approve this. Any questions on it? All right, roll call.
Kevin?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes. Do we have any additional questions for Dave?
Yep. Let's get going.
There we go. I'll pass this down. We all need to sign this. It needs to go back. They need this to go out tomorrow, probably, December 20th.
Okay.
All right, hearing nothing else from our road department, no questions for them, we'll go into IT. Joe, Barracuda.
Barracuda. This is a Barracuda Networks. They do multiple things for us. They are our email filter or the biggest thing they're doing is they're filtering our incoming email, looking for spam, phishing schemes, viruses, anything we can do to block anything coming in, so that way we don't run the risk of someone clicking on something they shouldn't click on. Plus, removing spam just frees up your inbox. We're averaging just around 1,000 emails per day that are being blocked by Barracuda. So if we were to not have this, we would be, you'd be, removing spam messages from your inbox. Plus, we get the, 2 or 3 per day phishing schemes. Sometimes they come in batches, where they'll run through, a group of board members or department heads all at once and try, click this to accept your American Express card, usual phishing schemes. This is filtered out by the Barracuda firewall. That's the first reason we have it. The second part of it is to meet our requirement from OTARMA for cybersecurity. So this is the tool we're using to do the quarterly training for cybersecurity, and they also do the random testing. So that is a requirement from our insurance company that we do quarterly, is offer free cybersecurity training to our employees, and then we do a testing cycle about 2 weeks later where they pick random people, or they'll pick an entire department, and they'll send out a message to see if they'll fall for it. So far in the tests we've done, we've actually never had an employee fall for it, which is really great for our employees. I applaud all of our departments for that. But it is something that's required by our OTARMA to test our employees for their cybersecurity awareness. And it also does backups. So right now, most township departments are using OneDrive for their file storage, zoning being our largest of them. The admin departments, fiscal, we store all those files in OneDrive. Barracuda also backs that data up. So if an employee accidentally deletes a file or deletes an entire folder, Barracuda is where I'm going to go to get that data restored. So it is our
There's no
cloud
layer
backup.
of safety for retention.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So it works in conjunction with OneDrive? It works in conjunction with OneDrive?
Yes, Barracuda Networks is a premier partner with Microsoft. So
Okay.
we use Office 365 for our email files, all that suite. Barracuda integrates directly into that system and is able to, grab our email before it gets here, interact with our OneDrive. So they're a partner with Microsoft. So it makes the process hopefully seamless because they partner directly with Microsoft to do the backup files and whatnot. So that works out to be $9 per user per month, which would be, with the amount of users we have, that works out to $9,752.40 for the year. And this is something that we've had, this will be our third year with Barracuda. So we've had this product for the last 3 years. So this is just renewing it for one more year.
Was there a price increase?
There was a slight price increase. We did add a lot of services last year. So last year we paid for the cybersecurity piece later in the year. It was added later. So we took 2 products and now we're lining them up so they expire at the same time. So we're not paying 2 invoices. I think we paid them 2 months apart last year. So this is combining both products into one agreement.
And the cybersecurity was because OTARMA
That
requested
it was a state requirement, and OTARMA also required that last year.
This is about on par for cost?
Yes. It's hard to find one product that does everything in once, so it's hard. I haven't looked to price everything out individually, but they're pretty comparable in their pricing. This is it is still through our normal vendor, but this is at state contract level. So this is through what they call Sourcewell, which is the state of Ohio's contract pricing. So anyone that uses Barracuda in the state of Ohio has this price.
Okay. So there's no negotiation on the price, they just.
No, there's no negotiation. It's the state of Ohio is negotiating for us.
Okay.
So I'm just asking for approval. I know it's kind of hard to follow up with the prior conversations we had.
I mean, well, there's
And,
cost and there's cost that we have to have, so.
I do feel it is, something that I would recommend, but it is a pretty decent size of money that I'm asking.
But it's requirement under OTARMA.
Most of this is required, and it not having it would put a burden on, just from a span standpoint. Your employees would now be having to go through, hundreds of emails a week that they're not getting today. I'm sure we're all aware of the plethora of spam you get. They use an AI intelligence to help filter that out, saying, hey, this is an email that you typically get. It filters it away.
So there's no other options. I mean, this is a,
It is. There would be other options if we broke it into many pieces. This is the simplest to manage option. I don't know. Unfortunately, I guess I apologize. I wasn't as prepared to say, hey, if we broke this into multiple services, here's what the cost would be. Barracuda Networks is able, because of their integration to Microsoft, they're able to do everything for us. It's easier to manage with one product. It's something that is easier to do because of their partnership with Microsoft. I don't have to go through extra hoops to get the data there. I just tell Microsoft that you're allowed to integrate with Barracuda, and they go forward with it. I'm not jumping through extra hoops trying to get the data from, email coming in to Microsoft to forward it to this person to get filtered to come back. It integrates. It's a simpler, easier to manage product.
So there's no way to have a comparison of another option? Without a bunch of work?
I could look into it. The only complication there is our contract is due, it expires with Barracuda on the 20th. So it is something that I did not catch until later in the process. So I do apologize. I was looking into our website. I was looking at other stuff. I overlooked that this one was going to expire very quickly. So I would have to look into other options very, very, very quickly to figure that out.
You say the 20th of this month?
Yes, so it's due here in a few days. And I do realize that is a me dropping the ball. So I'm not gonna blame anyone but myself, because I definitely overlooked the due date on this.
Well, as you know, with the website and the landscaping and everything,
Yes, no, I understand it.
you know what I'm
I
about
wish I
to
would have
say.
caught this a little earlier and had better prepared. So I did fluff
Yeah.
this up a little.
I like comparables.
No, so do I. I apologize. I did let this one slip through a little bit and did not notice it until the last moment.
Only concern is we can't go without a system.
We can if we're broke.
Well, what's our risk if we get rid of Barracuda, Chris?
Depends on who clicks. We had a bunch of people click before we got Barracuda.
Well, don't mess with success.
What do you think, Kevin? I mean, I'd rather have comparables, but I also don't want to risk our insurance, right? If we get a cyber attack during this period and we're not covered, I don't know if Rotana's going to be very happy to protect us, right? It's a whole discussion about, can we continue to use the compressor to run the fire suppression system?
I don't think you're gonna save much money. You probably can get a lower price, but you're probably not, you piecemeal it out, you're probably gonna end up paying, if not more, really close to the same, unfortunately.
But then you add in the labor hours to manually
That's-
integrate them.
That software's expensive.
Jasmine, do you know anything?
No, I just know that this kind of stuff is expensive. That's all I know.
Is it in the budget
Yes, it's in the budget.
at this price point?
I have 18,000. That's with this and something else. I don't know. It's just 18,000 for tech.
Thoughts, Kevin?
You know what I'm thinking.
I was thinking, my only concern is it's like
Yeah.
unlocking all the doors to the building here and walking away for a month.
We should have had this conversation 2 months ago.
Yes. But we're here, so what do? Do we unlock the doors for a month and pray, or do we just, we have to eat this and put it on our calendar for next year?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept Joe's recommendation for the Barracuda. I'm looking at the possibility of what can happen if we don't have it.
I'll second
I think it would be
discussion.
critical for discussion.
Building security is important, but I think in this world, cybersecurity is just as important at this point. And the last thing we need to do is get our information taken. We'd be in a really rough spot at that point.
Will they let us go into a month-to-month and not sign a contract and give you buy yourself a month to do some research?
I can ask. I don't know that. Unfortunately, I don't have that
So,
information.
can we do this? Amend the motion to say that we approve Barracuda for 30 days if they'll allow us to have a 30-day extension to do some research. If not, then we'll have to take it as it is, but at least gives them the leeway to say, hey, can we just get a 30-day extension? My board's working on this.
Okay.
What do you think, Kevin?
Yes.
And if they say, nope, it's this or nothing, then I guess we're stuck with it and readdress it next year. Does that sound like a fair?
That's fair.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor that's been amended to say that we approve Barracuda for 30 days, if a 30-day extension will be given, otherwise we'll accept them at the full price for 1 year. Roll call for acceptance.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
That's all I have for
Oh.
this week. The rest of the meeting.
Joe, whatever happened with the website? Did we get that finalized price?
Okay, so I did get an email during the meeting with the updated quote. It is not the number that was offered to me on the phone. If we want to discuss that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do.
Okay, so let me, I did do the math on my paper. So the number that they have proposed, was $9,077.88. So, about 50%, than the original cost. So they cut the cost in about half. It was not the number that we agreed to over the phone or was offered to me by my salesperson over the phone, but it is half of what the original renewal would have cost.
What's the new company quote us at? Do you remember?
The new company,
Through OTA? It was like
Yeah.
$3,900,
yeah,
and that included the setup.
The question is, though, when does our website sunset with them if we were to try to switch over to OTA?
and that's the other challenge. Is we're already within our cancellation window because they wanted a 90-day termination window. So we've already exceeded that. So it comes down to whether we want to challenge that 90-day window or not. If we can do that,
And can OTA providers, not OTA themselves, but can they transition in under 90 days and 60 days, take this data, flip us, and get us back live? Because the problem is our website is our official meeting hosting, so we can't be down. We have to maintain the record at the time. Can that transition happen in that amount of time?
When I originally had the conversation with the other company, I wish I could remember the name of it. 1 second, let me pull it up because I feel really bad that I can't remember the site. STG, thank you. STG, when I originally had that conversation with them and said, hey, I need something up before this expires, they felt that they could hit it in at least a very basic version of our website within a 60-day window. We may have some additional tweaks to be made after the site goes live, but the core of the site, the public notices, meeting minutes, the police department information, that stuff we would get up first and then add, employee profiles and the pretty stuff later. So it would be probably a phased approach, but it was something that we felt we could do, or they could do. Sorry.
It's $5,000 savings.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
the
it
question
was-
is, what are they going to charge us for the out on that?
That's the challenge, is since we're already inside of our cancellation window, if they want to be difficult, we may have to, falling into another thing, we may have to involve some legal help to get out. I know, I just discovered today that they've already sent us the invoice for the renewal to our finance department. I didn't even know that they were going to do that because I already been discussing with them that we're changing terms. I didn't realize they were going to send us the invoice already. So that was
And was it at the higher amount too?
at the original 20-some thousand, the original renewal amount. Which I was,
I thought the original renewal amount was 14,000 something.
what?
14,000?
Sorry, yes, 14, apologize.
So even nine's not even a 50%
No.
discount.
No, it's not.
25%.
No.
What was, why did I think it
Just
was
make
more
sure
than that?
somebody doesn't sign that invoice.
Right,
Pulled
no,
it,
we
sit
pulled
by
it.
Kirsten's desk.
No, it was-
Jasmine, we put
Yeah.
it in your office
Caught it and
tonight.
pulled.
Like,
Yeah,
lock
I'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it.
Joe, I think I would call them tomorrow and just tell them, no, we're not doing that.
Okay,
And I'll bet they changed their number again. You think
Yes.
yeah.
okay.
Let's
So-
do this. Because I don't want him to wait 2 weeks. We gotta move on
No.
to stuff.
Yeah.
No,
We can amend the agenda to add this in there for approval, but can we just, hear me out on this, can we say, hey, we approve Civic Plus at 7,000, 50% discount? So they don't have to do the whole change thing. If they're not willing to negotiate, then we give him the authority to go forward with STG, or however you wanna word that, but like, give him two options to work.
What did they quote you on the phone? Do you remember?
The original quote on the phone for my sales rep was 5,000.
Yeah, that's what we'll approve.
Okay. And I didn't know what that number was, so. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add website approval under information technology.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve Civic Plus at $5,000 per year. Or cancellation of Civic Plus and transition to STG website provider at a cost of $3,900 per year. Any second, please?
I'll second.
All right, so discussion. Do we want to give some wiggle room in there for cancellation fee? Should we just say STG not to exceed 5,000 or?
No, that was their whole thing, right, Joe?
Yes.
But I'm saying if it's 3,900 STG.
Yeah, you
do we
can
need
do
to
that.
give him like $1,000 to be able to negotiate with Civic, just to say, here's $1,000 for, you see what I'm saying? If they're not willing to come down from the 9. Or do we just,
No, just let it go.
huh?
Just let it go.
Okay. See you guys. Good with the website change?
I'm fine.
Right. All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor to approve Civic Plus at $5,000 per year. If not willing to make the change in cost, give permission to go forward with STG and start the transition process at $3,900.
Okay.
Keep Chief Mosley advised of
Oh,
what the
yes.
cancellation cost might be. We'll call an emergency meeting if we need to.
When I know more. Yep.
All right, roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right.
Ooh, fiscal.
Now we're to fiscal.
Amen, because I'm sleepy and hungry.
I'm sorry. You didn't-
All right, so, we already talked about the tax exemption
Speak up.
process. Right. New business updates, LGS. So those who do not know, LGS is an extension of the auditor's office, and it stands for Local Government Services. They oversee how government entities are doing for the most part. We are in fiscal watch, fiscal caution, something along those lines, because last year we were kind of in the same place. We were in a negative, general fund was. So I met with them recently. We discussed audit things, our financials, well, the last time we met, we were in a good spot. I thought we were in a good spot before 2024 adjustments came. So that also shifted their perspective of how we were doing fiscally. So we'll meet again with them next week. And they did say they were going to do a year forecast. I've already did a year forecast, so I'm interested to see how ours compare. So I will be keeping an eye on that. Also, like I stated before, we also need to keep in mind when we are looking at cost savings measure and things, we have a lot of unknowns when it comes to financials. The auditor's office did pick up the project. So I know a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on with the missing money. The auditors did pick that up, so that is one reason why our 2024 audit has been extended, because they are looking into where those funds may have went, whether that was they were spent out the wrong fund or whatever. I am thinking they probably were spent out the wrong fund, and I'm thinking we are going to have a nice size adjustment coming our way. But that, we will deal with that, I guess, when that comes. If things do not look better for the township, there is a possibility for them to insert themselves into our decisions and what it is that we have to do financially. So, we'll keep that in mind as well. As far as budgets are concerned, I have been working with temporary budgets. Next week, I plan on finalizing our permanent budgets, which will be sent then to the county auditor's office and be solidified for the rest of 2026. To help with financial controls and processes, I have implemented some things to hold both board and myself accountable going both ways. So the first thing, a part of my month-end process, we have implemented ACH. So I have a ACH report that I will start sharing at every meeting, that I will have the board members the trustees sign off on, just so that I'm being held accountable, that I'm sharing proper financials with the board. And also, when they sign off, that's them saying that I seen this. So I'm trying to be saying, I ain't never saw this. So that is this. So this is automatic payments that have been processed so far for the month of February. The next sheet I have is what I call a month-end balance statement. So what I have implemented with the fiscal assistant is that for each batch of payments, we track them. So we'll go into a spreadsheet that I've created and we'll track each batch of payments. We will track each batch of receipts or receivables. So that means like a deposit or a check that came in that is revenue. And we will track payroll and withholdings. And at the end of each month, I will run reports in UAN, and then I will make sure the numbers tie. So that means they balance out. So what we've been tracking should balance out to whatever is in our accounting system. So, and I would like the trustee's signature on that one. There you are. That's just let you know that we balanced at the end of January.
Can you pause for 1 second?
Yes.
Just so I get a question right before I sign this and send it back to you.
Yeah.
So the first one's the payment listing. These are just our ACH transfers.
Yes, those are just ACH payments so far in February. So probably every meeting, you'll probably get one of these to sign.
What's Quill Corp? Do we know?
Quill is supplies.
Okay. All right. It's the only one I didn't recognize. So let me send this one back to you. And then you're sending these electronically before the meeting so we can go through them too. But
Yep,
this is the
correct.
First time we see them, so just making sure I understand what you're doing. So
Yep.
when I look at the second thing you spoke about, the month-end report.
Month-end balance.
Balance. The first column is what we spent.
It will be revenues, so that'll be what we received.
Okay.
And then the second side of that sheet is expenditures.
Okay.
So what you would, so when I send this over to you, I send you other reports. So like the appropriation summary and the revenue summary, those numbers that's highlighted in green at the bottom, those should match the bottom line of those reports.
Okay. We've never gotten reports like this before. So.
I know.
And I appreciate it. This is good. I'm going to ask questions and make sure I'm looking at what you're sending me correctly. So, okay. Why does it look like we spent nothing in the general fund?
What are you looking at?
General fund 2026 plan. So is this column, let me go to the top, beginning of the page for you. Starting accounts, starting balance, is this purple expenditures?
Oh, so all of that is expenditures.
Okay,
But that right there is that is the account code listings that you want. So that's the budget right there.
okay,
So that's the budget.
okay. And these are just the plans? Okay,
Correct.
okay. And then this is the, okay, I got you now, we're good. All right, go on.
Next is the appropriation supplemental. So this is just shows you, if any adjustments were made within, the fund, that's what that is. So you know how I told you that, we have appropriations like the budget with the different account codes. But if there was, for example, say supplies line ran short
Okay,
within that fund, if we needed to adjust, then we would adjust within that fund.
okay. So it doesn't require board approval?
It does
to
not,
adjust
it doesn't require board approval, no.
You
But
have
that's,
that authority to change it, but then you're letting us know.
right, yes, I'm just letting you know that, what's going on.
That was one of the, because remember, we had that discussion before.
Right,
From
yep.
previous administration, how that could happen.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is just the invoice list. That's just all the bills that were paid in January. And everybody has access to that online. Well, they will have access to it once I finalize it.
Should it be on our website or?
Well, everything we spend is, the Power BI report I post on there. Our budget and stuff is on there.
And then you'll bring these, you said monthly, correct?
Correct. And that is all for fiscal.
Any questions for fiscal? All right, if not, we'll move into, we have no executive sessions today. We do have for the good of Brimfield Township, any comments from the board or department heads?
Dave, are you gonna reach out to Suncrest?
Yeah, I can reach out to them.
Okay.
I can give them a jingle and see if they need to discuss anything. I mean, I'll just let them know they got the contract, just let them know what I need to do, what we need to get signed over to them or whatever. I didn't even look at that part.
Jasmine, I just want to say thank you
Oh, you're welcome.
for giving us the information and making us more aware of what's going on. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Kevin,
Yes.
Sue, Nick,
Yes.
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, we're adjourned at 9:38. Kevin, you got
Oh.
dinner next time.
Damn it.